All right, folks, welcome to the monthly meeting of NPU-F. I can see we've definitely achieved a quorum, so we will call the meeting to order. Today is September 17th, 2025. It's about 7:05 p.m. For those of you I haven't met yet, my name is Tom Schwab. I'm the NPU-F Vice Chair and also the Alcohol Licensing Committee Chair. I'm going to be your host for the meeting tonight, and I want to thank Kay Stevenson for volunteering to help me co-host this evening. As many of you know, Debbie Shapchinsky is our chair. Debbie normally runs these meetings, and she does an excellent job. I'm going to try to fill in for her shoes as best I can. I thank you for your patience as we work through this learning curve. Um, Also with me tonight, Catherine King, who's our secretary. She's going to be taking minutes, and of course, this meeting is being recorded as well. Kay Stevenson and Susan Canellis are our co-public safety co-chairs. Wiley Somerville is our zoning chair. Rich Sussman is Parks, Trees, and Environmental chair. Marla Johnson, who's going to join us a little bit later this evening, is our communications chair. Jason Holmes is our education chair. Katie DeWeeves is our Atlanta Planning and Advisory Board rep. And of course, Doug Young is our City of Atlanta planner. So we do have a fairly full agenda tonight. I'm going to do my best to move through things expeditiously. Okay, so a little bit on our meeting logistics. We have two agendas. The full agenda, which is the one with the phone numbers at the top of it, that's going to cover everything we're going to talk about tonight. We also have a second agenda we call the consent agenda. It's a subset of the full agenda. Usually we approve these things without discussion. We bundle them together as a group and handle it in a single vote. So if you're here for an application and we don't cover you on the consent, don't worry about it. We're going to get to you on the main agenda. And again, I put both agendas in the chat. Let's talk about voting. We're going to be voting on a number of issues tonight. Any resident of NPU-F may vote unless you have a financial interest in a particular application. So you can vote on other people's applications, just not your own. And likewise, if you're not a resident, but you own a business here within the NPU boundaries, you may vote if you've met the requirements as described in our bylaws, and you'll find all those at the very bottom of the full agenda. So please refrain from voting if you don't live or own property or a business within NPU-F. When we vote, we're going to use the raise your hand feature. I'll talk to you more about that in just a second. And we do use Robert's Rules of Order here during the meeting as our parliamentary guide. We have somewhat of a relaxed view of that. So for routine matters, I'm probably just going to ask if there's any objections or for unanimous consent. But when a motion is required, and I call for it, I'm going to recognize the first two people that speak up, the person that makes the motion and the person that seconds it. That is the only exception we have to the raise your hand rule. If you're not making or seconding a motion, please raise your hand unless you're called upon by whoever has the floor. We're using Zoom, obviously, tonight, and most of you have already figured out the hardest part of logging in, but let me give you a quick refresher on the key features we're going to use tonight. The first is the participant list. That is a list of everybody who's attending the meeting. Your name will appear at the top of that list. It's important that if you have more than one person using a device, let's say two people on a computer at home, that we see both your names in the participant list. Otherwise, your vote will only count once, whereas if both members are eligible to vote. So if you need to change your name for any reason, you can click More next to your name, and then you'll see an option to rename. Likewise, if somebody else's name is in your window, please correct that. If you're logged in on multiple devices, we see your name multiple times, we won't be able to count any of the votes that have your name on them. And also, K or I might be tweaking your name slightly to make the vote counting a little easier. Probably the most forgotten feature of Zoom is the mute button. That looks like a little microphone. It's usually in the lower left of your screen. It's also next to your name in the participant list. Please remember to stay muted unless you're speaking. And when you're done speaking, please go back onto mute. I mentioned the raise your hand feature. To activate that, you'll see it under the reaction tab at the bottom of the screen. And make sure you click the right line that says raise your hand. It looks like a hand, something like this. If you click the clappy hands or the thumbs up icon, those things will go away after a couple of seconds. and you'll either lose your place in line or your vote won't count. So please use the raise your hand feature. We're gonna use that for all voting. Anytime you have a question or a comment. Um, when the speakers are called upon, I'm going to call on you in the order with which you raise your hand. And if you're speaking, we'd like to have your camera on. This is especially important if we're hearing an application. Reason being, we need to know the person representing that application is truly the right folk. If you want to turn your camera off when you're not presenting, that's fine as well. If you've dialed in via telephone and you're not in Zoom, you don't have a screen in front of you, that's fine. If you want to raise your hand, click *9 on your phone, and I will see your hand raised at my end. Also, you'll need to unmute your line via Zoom if you're on the phone by clicking *6. That's how you toggle your mute on and off. That's in addition to any mute feature that your phone might have as well. And the last feature I'll talk about is the chat. That's a great place to send messages. You can send it to everybody or just one individual. Again, that's where I posted all the agendas and the minutes. It's a great place to put your contact information rather than reading out long email addresses or phone numbers. At the end of the meeting, if you want to save any information in the chat, you click the three little dots up in the upper right chat window, and that will save everything except the attachments. So if there's a presentation loaded, you want to save that, you should save that to your hard drive separately. Okay, a couple of comments on our meeting protocols. Please try to keep your comments germane to the topic at hand. If you have a random thought, it's a great place to use the chat, writing it down, and somebody will either respond in the chat or they'll work it back into the conversation at the appropriate time. Also, if you have something new, you can bring it up during new business later in the agenda. I think it's on item 12 on the agenda. We ask everyone to be respectful. After all, we're all neighbors here. I know there's a lot of topics on the agenda tonight. Some of them in the past, people have been very passionate about. And sometimes that passion can morph itself and come out in ways that we don't want, sounding snarky or sarcastic. So please refrain from doing that, and I will endeavor to do the same. We're going to ask you to only speak once on the topic unless we ask for clarification. And also, we're going to limit you to 2 minutes per question or comment. That's especially important tonight. As I mentioned, it's a very full agenda. So I encourage everyone, if you want to comment on something, please think through in advance what you want to say, get it down to succinct, key, salient points so we're not in the awkward position of having to cut anyone off mid-sentence. We ask only one person to speak at a time so everybody can hear and so we get a good recording. And likewise, if we're picking up a lot of background noise or some people continuously interrupt or hog the floor, we'll be forced to mute in that case. But again, we don't want to do that. So please be respectful. Okay, so again, the entire purpose of the NPU is to have your voice heard. So we want you to speak up. And that's whether you're for an application or whether you're opposed to an application. We want to hear both sides of the argument and have a healthy discussion. If you think something ought to be noted in our minutes, please raise your hand and let us know that. We'll make sure we get it in there, especially if it's impactful to neighborhoods. I mentioned Robert's rules and raising your hand, but please don't be shy. If you have a comment, we want to hear from you. But as I said, please be brief. We should note that anything you put in the comments goes to the city. The city reviews that as well, so they get a good idea of what's being said at the NPU meeting. And as you can see, I'm talking very quickly in the interest of time. So if I go too fast or you're unclear where we are or why we're doing something a certain way, please raise your hand and I'll be happy to slow down or explain where we are in the process. And again, your participation is critical for this grassroots democracy. The last concept I want to leave you with in my opening remarks is just that your voice really does count. We have a responsibility and obligation to share our opinions with the city leadership. But along with that, I want to remind everybody that anything we vote on tonight is only a recommendation. The ultimate decisions are made by either city boards or city administrators or city council. So I encourage you to express yourselves here, but also in those other forums, whether you're writing a city body or phoning them or appearing in a public meeting for comment. I encourage you to have your voice heard through all those methods. It's easy to get discouraged sometimes if we make a recommendation and it doesn't appear to be followed by the city, but it's important to give notice that the NPU is paying attention. And if you see a recurring pattern where our vote isn't being heard, that's what elections are for in November. So I encourage you to all execute your civic duty and vote in November. And a great way to increase your voice not only is going to the city government directly, but is amplifying it through the NPU. So consider joining the NPU. We are going to have elections in November, and I will talk more about that later. Okay, that's it for the preamble. Let's get down to the good stuff. Our first order of business is to adopt the agenda. As I said, it's posted into the chat. Does anyone have any additions to tonight's agenda? If you do, please raise your hand under the reaction tab. Okay, I'm not seeing any. Are there any objections to adopting tonight's agenda? If you have an objection to adopting, please raise your hand. Okay, seeing none, the agenda is adopted without objection. All right, so our second item on that agenda is the approval of the meeting minutes. Again, last month's meeting minutes for August are ready for review. They've been posted in the chat. I want to thank Catherine King for getting them ready for us. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Is that Kevin?
Yes.
Thank you, Kevin. Is there a second?
Me, I'll second that, Katie.
Thank you, Katie. Appreciate that. All right. Are there any objections to approving the minutes to the motion that was made? All right. Seeing none, the motion carries without objection. The minutes are official. Okay, item 3 on our agenda. I do have quite a few announcements tonight, so I'll try to run through these quickly. The first is a reminder that Invest Atlanta board meeting is tomorrow morning. They are going to be discussing Amsterdam Walk, 135 multifamily housing units going in there. Again, so it's tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. NPU-F received a notification of this fairly late, just last night. And I think it's already gone through to committee. So if you have an opinion on that, in addition to the topic we're going to discuss later tonight in the agenda, feel free to attend that meeting as well. They're meeting at 133 Peachtree Street, and you can contact Michelle Lewis, who is with Invest Atlanta. And as I said, we're going to be hearing more about Invest Atlanta and housing options under presentations tonight under agenda item number 8. Okay, also a few other things going on in our NPU. The Druid Hills School is having a homecoming parade September 28th. It's a large gathering, so we're not going to vote on it, but it begins and ends at the Druid Hills High School and passes through Emory campus to part of our NPU. You can contact Peter Bauer of DeKalb Public Schools for more info. Also, there's going to be a 5K. This is the Winship Win the Fight 5K. That's going to be October 4th. Again, it's a large gathering. This one benefits is to fight cancer. It's also on the Emory University campus. It's where it starts it starts at Ashbury Circle and it ends in front of Cox Hall. You can contact Skip Bauer, who's the event organizer, if you'd like more information on that. And the last benefit, it's the Walk a Mile in Their Shoes. That is also October 4th. This one benefits the Alma Domestic Violence Foundation. They're going to be meeting at Park Tavern in Piedmont Park, and this walk goes along the East Side Beltline. And you can contact Alma Davis, who is the event organizer for that. All right. Also, I want to remind everyone that campaigning at NPU meetings is strictly prohibited per the City of Atlanta's Code of Ordinances. So please refrain from introducing an elected official as a political candidate in the upcoming elections. Please don't display buttons or banners or signs to that effect. And of course, we can't distribute any election materials or literature. So as I briefly mentioned before, this isn't so much campaigning, but a call to service. I mentioned our elections, that's NPU-F. We'll be electing new officers for next year. That's from January to December of 26. Those are going to be at our monthly meeting, which is November 19th. So I think there's going to be several positions where they're open, and I encourage everyone in the sound of my voice to get involved. It's a great way to meet your neighbors, get back to the community. You can reach out to myself or any of the committee chairs, and we'll give you some more information or get you hooked up with the right folks. Okay, that's it for my opening announcements. Let's move on to reports from the city departments. Why don't we start with Atlanta Fire, Station 19 or 29? Anyone on from Atlanta Fire Department? Battalion Chief Harris or Battalion Chief Martin? Okay, we will move along then. How about the APD? Anyone on from Atlanta Police Department?
Yes, sir. I'm here, Lieutenant Carroll, Zone 6.
Hello, Lieutenant. Welcome. What would you
Yes,
like
sir.
to share with us tonight?
I'd just like to share the crime stats with y'all. So, unfortunately, we're kind of trending up a little bit on theft from motor vehicles. We have 31 for this last 30-day period. That's up from 25 the last 30-day period. For motor vehicle thefts, we're down on those. We only got 4, and we had 9 last 30-day period, so that's good. And for burglaries, we had 8 this period and we had 3 last period. So unfortunately, we are up a little bit on burglaries. It's probably going to get cold pretty soon, so I'm anticipating the thefts and stuff like that to go down some with the weather. Unfortunately, it's been a little seasonably warm lately, so I think that's kind of affected us some. Do y'all have any questions or concerns?
Any questions for Lieutenant Carroll?
Um, this was there a shooting today near the Grady Clinic on Ponce de Leon in North?
I am not sure, sir. I can find out and get back to you on that.
That's okay. I heard there was, but I never saw anything on the internet.
I don't recall hearing a shooting coming up today, but
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome.
Any other questions for Lieutenant Carroll? All right, Lieutenant. Well, I appreciate you being here tonight.
Yes, sir. Anytime.
All right.
And
Have a good evening.
I'm gonna
Oh, I'm
put
sorry.
my email address in the chat. So if anybody thinks anything after the meeting, and I'll look into it and I'll email y'all back and see if I had any shootings today over by Grady
All right.
Clinic.
Please do. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
All right. Have a
Thank
good
you.
evening.
Bye bye.
How about Zone 2? Major Veins? Anyone from
Yes, sir.
Zone?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, oh, yeah. I'm sorry, Major. We can hear you.
No, Major couldn't make it today. I'm Lieutenant David Bourne with Zone 2 Crime Suppression Unit. I'll be with y'all tonight.
Okay, great. Welcome.
Similar to Lieutenant Carroll, overall crime and sharing the crime stats, we're actually down outside of, theft from vehicles. Um, of course, with theft of vehicles in this climate is really just making sure we, keeping these cars clean, keeping all valuables away. That's really the best deterrence, when it comes to these type of crimes. So just remind residents, please just keep everything clear from their cars and all their valuables.
All right, that's good advice, Lieutenant. Thank you. Any questions for the Lieutenant? All right, I'm not saying it. Lieutenant, if you wouldn't mind, would you mind just adding your name to the chat so we can keep that in the records, please?
Absolutely.
Excellent. Thank you very much. All right. Well, if there's no other questions for APD, we'll move on to code enforcement. Anyone on from code enforcement? Officer Williams, perhaps?
I'm here.
Excellent. Welcome. Welcome. What would you like to share with us tonight?
Hi, this is Officer AJ Williams with APD Code Enforcement. Just an update on the cases. Currently we have about 34 open cases pertaining to property maintenance, junk trash debris, inoperable vehicles, and about 6 highly hazardous cases. Anyone have any questions or concerns?
No questions for code enforcement? All right. Well, I appreciate it, Officer Williams. Thank you for being here tonight.
No problem. You all have a good night.
You too. Okay, how about Atlanta 311? Tamika Merriweather, I think I saw you join
Yeah.
earlier.
Good evening. Good
Good
evening.
evening.
I got your emails and I want you to know you got 3 cases on the desk, okay? One with Public Works and 2 with Department of Transportation. So,
Fantastic.
and
That
I was
that
shoveling them. I was like, "Hey, you haven't answered them. You haven't
I
answered them."
appreciate that, and I appreciate Mr. Mitchell's help with that as well. Yeah, for those of you, that was in regards to a traffic sign recommendation on North Highland that we discussed last month, just to fill
and
everybody in.
and it looks like some maintenance, like as far as uh picking up
Yeah.
litter and stuff,
So
obstacles.
other than that issue, are there any stats or anything you'd like to share about 311?
Uh, no big stats that sticks out, but of course, 311 is your non-emergency reporting center where you can call in and report traffic violation, not traffic violation, but traffic issues with traffic signals, public works, or missing trash or illegal dumping, water maintenance, water main breaks, or water meter issues, so on and so forth. When in doubt, we encourage you to call 311 and we will direct you to that department. Now, you know there are always 5 pathways to reach us, of course, by dialing 311 or the extended number 404-546-0311. You can also email us. You can chat with us. You can also take pictures and add us on social media, Instagrams, Facebook, and Twitter. And then you also can do the self-serve feature. We also I do want to advise that we are aware of any issues that you may have reporting yourself. Although on your end you may be getting an error, we still get the report. So we do encourage you guys to be as descriptive as possible in your description because sometimes it'll come in without an address. So if you put the address in the description, we can still follow through without having to close it, so on and so forth. So we are still getting them. So just try to put as much information as you can. Other than that, you could always reach us Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to midnight. Also, Pat has joined us on that 7 to midnight train. So if you have any quality of life concerns, you can also report those as well. With that being said, I don't have any additional reports and I open the floor for any questions.
Any questions for Miss Merriweather or Atlanta
Yeah,
311?
yeah, I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes,
can.
ma'am.
Okay, I put in a 311 incident report and it got closed without them fixing it. And this has
What was it?
happened many cases at times. And I just want to know why is that?
What was it for?
It was the intersection of Monroe and Montgomery Ferry. One of the walking signs is not working correctly. And I literally just a few minutes ago I checked and it's still not working correctly. But today I got a notice from 311 that says it was closed because there was no problem found.
Okay. So the departments are typically the ones that close it. We submit them, but they'll close it once they feel that the issue has been completed or if there's a duplicate. So if you're submitting something that they're currently already working on and it has the same address and same things, they'll close it under duplicate. Do you happen to have any of the case numbers where I can look at it while we're on the call and message you in chat?
Yeah, I can send you something in chat. Yeah, I do. I
Okay.
have,
Okay, yeah,
but my
send those to
question,
me and I'll check the status of them and read the status from my side. Okay.
because this
All
is,
right,
I
great.
mean, I'm just saying this because this has happened to me a number of times when I've tried 311, when I've reported something and they keep closing the case, even though the thing is not being resolved. But
Okay.
they never say it's a duplicate. They just don't resolve the issue.
Well, they'll say duplicate on our end, not necessarily your end.
But
So
I
how
So,
do I?
guess I guess it does bring up a good point. I mean, even if two people have put in a ticket for the same thing, should either ticket be closed if the issue has not been resolved?
Well, that's so for intersection things. So that is a decision that Department of Transportation would make,
Yeah.
right? So I, for another NPU, kept putting up a ticket for them in regards to a pedestrian sign that they felt was facing the wrong way. Now everybody sees this, but some reason transportation wanted it that way, so they kept closing it until they finally said that's how they wanted it. But they kept closing it. So yes.
Yeah, I mean, that seems to be a slightly different issue, right? If that one is the question of was there actually a problem or not in the eyes of the
Right.
transportation as opposed to a duplicate. But yeah, I mean, my preference would be the department that's resolving it should keep the tickets open until the issues are resolved, even if
Yeah.
it is a duplicate ticket.
Yeah, I guess my question is, how would I know that? Like in other words, if there's a traffic sign that's out and it's out week after week, and I put in and then they close it, how do I know someone is still working on it?
So that's where you would have to call and check the status or chat with us to check the status, because up until recently, depending on how old the case is, up until recently when the case closed, and we tried to on our side put what it was closed for. So for example, if you called in and said that this was happening and I said, "Oh, Miss Cash, I see there's another ticket," and I will say that we closed your ticket because every time you call or communicate with us, a ticket is open. Okay, so we'll close it saying, "Hey, I communicated to Miss Cash saying that this was a duplicate to this case," and I will give you the case number of the one that's open. But when the departments do it, they have their own lingo. So it's something that I probably, like I said, have to look up and decode.
Yeah. Well, I guess maybe what we're suggesting is maybe we could take a request back to the departments that a new best practice might be keeping the tickets open until they're resolved, even if you have two tickets from two different parties for the same problem. That would be a recommendation. Maybe you could help us take that back to the departments.
Yeah, sure.
Great,
Most definitely.
great.
Okay,
All
thank
right.
you.
Sabrina Robs, do you have a question?
Yes. Hi, this is Sabrina. I haven't been here for a while. Ms. Meriwether, I wanted to follow up on Cheshire Bridge High Rise as it relates to the signaling or the traffic issue that we're having with the speeding on that particular Cheshire Bridge Road. And I do apologize, I've been out due to medical reasons. However, I wanted to also find out the best way to I wasn't clear on how to follow up on the actual the pending um I'm sorry, request. The status of the request that I've already put in. I wasn't clear on that, so I try to catch the call so I can kind of ask the question. And just to add to that, I was able to chime in on the neighborhood watch training. So it gave me a lot more information. Also referring back to you, and I let them know that I was a part of the meeting. So again, just trying to follow up and escalate the status on that speeding issue at Cheshire Bridge.
Remind me what we wanted. Did we want speed humps or traffic signal or something where they would
Well,
have to investigate?
that was where we left off. The investigation was apparently on the way, which was communicated a few meetings ago. We needed to get clarification on that investigation so I can move forward with, I guess, the I don't know if it's petition or where I had the neighbors to chime
I
in.
got 3 cases for you, and all of them are still in active status. The
Okay,
reason I was asking is because some that require like a traffic study, like you
okay,
want a traffic light there or you want a signal there, they are unusually long. And that's because the department has to, of course, do all the background in regards to traffic, accident reports, things like that in that area, go out and do surveillance, both in the day and the night. And then they also have to have, remember, we talked about the petition. So
correct.
they also have to have you fill out a petition and get it back to you. I'm looking at your traffic study one, which is the one that's the lengthy one. And Ironically, it was supposed to be completed by August the 26th. So I can reach out to the department and figure out what's going on with this because we're 2 weeks into September. So yeah, it's past its time. Um, that was the one that I know we were requesting uh some kind of speed hump, something to help with the seniors, either a sign or a speed hump. I can't remember, but I do remember speaking to you, and I do see that 3 cases are still open from you from May.
Okay, so it sounds like they're still active, and then
You're
and
right.
then
I
Miss
got to
Mary,
figure out what's happening.
yeah, you've got a couple that are it sounds like the conclusion is past due from the projected closure date. So maybe you could look into those and follow up
Yes.
directly. Would that be a
Yes.
good plan forward? Okay,
Yes.
great.
So she will probably get an email from me and my
Fantastic. All right, great. So I think you guys can take that one offline. Any other questions for 311? All right. Well, Miss Merriweather, thank you so much for being here and for everything you do for 311.
You're so very welcome. It was a pleasure. You guys have a great evening.
All right, you too. All right, moving along. How about Public Works Code Enforcement? Anyone from Public Works Code Enforcement?
Yes, good evening, everyone. My name is Sweet Officer Spurlock on behalf of the Department of Public Works. I hope you guys are having a great evening. The
We
sweet
are. How about
thing,
you?
good. Yes, sir. Thanks for asking. Yes, sir. This month for NPU-F, first, like to give you guys a description of what we do as a sweet team. We are code enforcement for the City of Atlanta's Department of Public Works, which means we pertain to the right of way. We do have a little bit of a code section where we can do property maintenance, but most of our jurisdiction is on the right of way. So that comes to your collections, that comes to illegal dumping, that comes to your bulk removals, that comes to your any sanitation issues at restaurants, nearby establishments. We enforce trash. So this month, I would like to remind you guys that leaf season is coming. So please make sure that you're putting your leaves in your yard trimming piles in brown paper bags. Plastic is considered illegal in the city of Atlanta. Also, if you have any home items that you're placing on the right of way, please make sure that you're contacting ATL 311 for pickup. Secondly, we've been getting a lot of this in this NPU. We do not collect construction debris, which means if you get your deck fixed on your back of your home, City of Atlanta is not responsible for collection. If you cut down a tree in front of your home, whoever cuts down the tree, they are responsible for collection of the removal of the tree. We've been having a lot of complaints with that little mix up. So if you pay anybody to do a service on your home and they leave the debris on the right of way, the city of Atlanta is not required to for collection. And then lastly, illegal dumping is a crime in the city of Atlanta. So if you see something, say something, and please contact ATL 311. I'll open the floor for any questions at this time.
Any questions for Officer Spurlock? Yeah, Rich. Rich, you're still muted.
Okay, Officer Spurlock, one question I had for you last week was last time was whether we're still able to put glass in the recycling containers. The reason I asked that because when glass gets crushed in the recycling trucks, it tends to fall to the onto the pavement. So are we still expected to put glass in, or should we take glass somewhere else?
Yes, sir. Please don't put any glass in the bins. We do not accept any glass. So thank
Okay,
you for that.
thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right. Any other questions for Officer Spurlock? I guess I have a quick one. Officer, you mentioned that it's leaf season coming again. I know yard waste has been on an every other week schedule. Do you plan on going to an every week schedule now that we're getting into the fall season? And if so, when does that schedule change occur?
That's a great question. No one's ever asked that. I
That's
could
why
see if
that's
there,
why I'm the vice chair. I get the big
yes,
bucks.
sir. Yes, sir. I could see if that's a possibility. But I highly doubt it with the turnover and the amount of
Okay.
stops that they have. I doubt
Gotcha.
it. but I could just put it in their ear and see if that's a possibility.
Yeah, I thought last year the yard trimmings were on a weekly schedule, and then in the off season, if you will, it goes to a bi-weekly schedule. But
Okay.
maybe that's a new policy change. Okay. If
Yes,
you could,
sir.
yeah, if you could look into that, I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. I'll email you back tomorrow about that.
Perfect. Thank you so
Yes, sir.
much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions for Public Works Code Enforcement, Officer Spurlock? All right. Well, thank you for being here tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Have a good evening. How about Parks and Rec? Anyone here from Parks and Rec? No Parks and Recreation. All right. Why don't we move on to Watershed Management? Anyone on from Watershed Management?
Um, this is Parks and Rec. We can give our report just before the presentation for the Piedmont.
Oh, okay. Great. Great. We'll hold you till then. All right. That's well, Parks and Rec and Watershed Management. Anyone? No? Okay. How about the solicitor's office? Either the city or the county, City of Atlanta solicitor?
Hello, it's Janelle Bowles. How are you?
Good, good, Miss Bowles. How are you?
I'm doing well. Great job, Tom, with your leadership and moving us along.
Oh, stop it. I'm going to blush on camera.
I
We
know
can't
it.
have that, but thank you.
Um,
What
I mean, you
well,
had big shoes to fill with Debbie.
well that I will agree with. Debbie
Yes,
makes this look easy, and
yes.
all I'll say is there's a lot of moving pieces behind the scenes that I was unaware of.
My favorite is this is a snarky free environment.
I've picked up, I've tried to ad lib a little of Debbie's opening comments, but thank you very much.
Yeah, of course, I have no report. That's why I'm doing my comedy routine right now. But
All right.
I'm
Well,
Janelle Bowles. I'm senior solicitor counsel with the City of Atlanta Solicitor's Office, and we prosecute cases for the City of Atlanta. I specifically work with the housing violations. So if you have any questions about anything that is coming up, we did actually have an inquiry this week that was funneled through the Ombudsman's office, I believe, and 311, following up about some cases. And I think it was one that maybe Mr. Sussman had asked about before, but I don't know the name of what's the name of the business that you all were concerned about?
Oh, it's the Happy Herman's
Happy Herman's.
right at the corner of Cheshire Bridge and
Right.
La Vista. And I believe the case will be heard in criminal court October 1st.
October 1st, correct. So those have been reissued. Those citations have been reissued, and they'll be on October 1st.
all right. Excellent. Well, thank you for being here tonight. Are there any other questions for Ms. Bowles? All right. I'm not seeing any, but have a great evening.
All right,
Thank you for
you
being
too.
here. Okay. Mr. Mitchell, you are up.
Good evening, everyone. Tom, yes, you are doing a great job.
I'm really not paying the city to say these things, by the way. Maybe we can get Debbie to watch this video a little later on. What would you like to share with us tonight?
Of course, my name is Clyde Mitchell. I'm your neighborhood relations manager in the Ombudsman's Office of Neighborhoods. My contact information has been placed in the chat, but it was placed in earlier, so I will put it back into the chat. Please continue NPU-F to reach out to me. We can surface concerns to departments. We help you find information. We even mediate discord and explore options to resolve outstanding constituent neighborhood issues. Let me say that again. Outstanding constituent and neighborhood issues. What does that mean, Clyde? That means that if you've had a case out there for a lengthy period of time, that you will be able to, as long as you have a case number, to email me that case number and that information, and we will try to escalate that situation for you so that there will be some resolution, hopefully quickly. ATL and Miss Meriwether does an excellent job in surfacing your cases to departments, but somehow they may get closed out for whatever reason or another. But please, if you have situations like that or cases that have not been resolved in a while, continue to send me those cases in email, and we will see what we can do to escalate. That's all I have, Tom.
All righty. Well, thank you very much, as always, for being here. Any questions for Mr. Mitchell regarding the Ombudsman Office? All righty. Well, thank you for
Thank
being
you.
here. Have a great evening. All right. Are there any other city departments that I may have missed? Did I miss any city departments? Okay. So we will move on to elected officials. Let's start with City Council. Alex, are you with us? District 6? No? Okay. How about District 2? Anyone from District 2?
Tom, we might mention that Amir Faroki has resigned, as everybody knew he was going to.
Yeah.
And Carton Wickoff has been appointed to fill that position through the end of the term.
Excellent.
Carmen was the chair of City of Atlanta Accessibility and Inclusion Task Force.
Excellent. Okay. Yeah, I knew Amir had resigned, but I did not know who was filling in for him. So thank you, Kay. I appreciate that.
She was just sworn in this week.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. Well, that's good to know. I will update my records. Any other city councilmen? Anyone at large? Sometimes we get Councilman Julian Bond, Uncle Julian Bond. Any other council members here?
Good afternoon. My name is El Chumlongluk, and I am from Councilmember Westmoreland's office.
Ah, very good.
Hi.
Hi, welcome. Welcome. Do you have
Thank
anything you'd like to share with us tonight?
Yes, so I am just starting with Councilmember Westmoreland's office. And I just wanted to come and introduce myself. I will be the Director of Stakeholder Engagement and Communication for the office. And Councilmember Westmoreland is the post 2 at-large representative. So as I'm getting started, I just wanted to get as much feedback as possible on how our office can support y'all. So I do have a little feedback form that I'm going to put in the chat for y'all to fill out if you have any feedback for our office on how we can support the community better. So thank you so much for having me be here, and I'll make sure to put my contact information in the chat as well.
Wonderful. Well, excellent. Thank you. Welcome to the team, and we appreciate you being here tonight.
Thank you.
Okay, did I miss any other city council people that are here tonight? All right. Well, why don't we move on then? How about at the state level? State Rep Stacey Evans? No? Okay. What about Fulton County Commissioners? Anyone here from the Fulton County Commissioner office? All right. I am not seeing anyone. Okay, so that concludes our elected officials. Let's move on to our consent agenda. And again, if you're here for a special event, when I announce the event, please just turn on your camera and let me know you're here. That's all we really need from you at this point in the evening. So first up, special events, Light Up This Season at Piedmont Park. This is a Class C event, about 1,000 people. It's going to be held in the Meadow. Our recommendation is to support this. Is Mr. Terrell Henderson with us?
Yep, I'm here. Hopefully you can hear me.
Excellent. Yep, that's very good. Thank you, Mr. Henderson. Appreciate you being here. That's all we need from you right now. Thank you. Next up on the consent agenda is the Smart BTA Stop the Violence Community Fair. This one is an adjusted, it's a change from something we previously supported. It's a Class C event, 700 people. It's in Piedmont Park. Given that we already supported this once, I think the only change here is to add a rain date for 8/1. So Brenda Banks, actually, it's not required that Brenda be with us tonight because we've already approved this once. Okay, and then we have two BZA, two zoning variances that are on the consent agenda. Wiley, do you want to read through those?
Sure thing.
So first we have V25-172 at 955 Drew Street Northeast. The applicant seeks a variance to reduce east yard setback from 7 feet to 5.8 feet and increase the maximum parking spaces from 4 to 5 parking spaces. Is there a rep for this representative or the applicant here tonight?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, great. Check. Second one is V25-18. That's 864 Adair Avenue Northeast. Applicant seeks a variance from the zoning ordinance to reduce front yard setback from 35 feet to 18 feet 8 inches. Is there a rep? Nine, I see you're here. Are you
Yes,
here
Wiley,
for that
I'm here.
one?
Thanks so much.
Okay, great. That's
All
it,
right.
then.
Thank you very much, Wiley, and appreciate it, everyone being here. Alrighty, so can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
So moved.
All right, I think I heard Kevin first, and Wiley, were you? I heard you as well,
Second,
right?
yeah.
All right, we'll put Wiley down as second. We don't need to remove anything. Any discussion on the motion?
This is Kevin. I'm the planning chair. We reviewed these and supported these 100% from the planning committee and from Virginia Highland Board as well.
Excellent. Appreciate that, Kevin. Okay, so we've got a motion to approve the consent agenda with all the recommendations to support. It's been made and properly seconded. We're going to use the voting buttons now, folks. So remember, it's under that reaction tab at the bottom of your screen. We're going to use that raise your hand icon. All those in favor of the motion to approve the consent agenda, please raise your hand now.
And Tom, if I may add, just a reminder, if you're the owner or of the property, you cannot vote for yourself.
Yeah, that's a great point, Kevin. Appreciate that. Do we see any of that on the list? Okay, I'm seeing a count of 19. I think we've got a 2 per in there. So I'm seeing a total of 20 ayes. All right, let me lower everyone's hands here. Any opposed? Any opposed to the motion to approve the consent agenda? If so, please raise your hand. All right, seeing none. So by a vote of 20 to nothing, the motion carries. Our consent agenda, our recommendations are all approved. Okay, let's move on to other matters on the full agenda. The first up is our NPU-F bylaws. Those of you that were with us last month recall that we asked if there were any changes or additions to the bylaws that would include our policy statement. There were none at that time. So that served as our official notification of our intent to renew the existing bylaws for year 2026. So that is what we are here to officially vote on tonight. So may I have a motion to renew our existing bylaws and policy statement, please?
So moved.
All right, thank you, Rich. I appreciate that. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate it. Any discussion on the motion? All right, not seeing any. All those in favor of the motion to renew our existing bylaws and policy statements, please raise your hands. Okay. Okay, I'm counting 20 plus 2 duplicates or 2 doubles, so that's 22. And I'm lowering the hands. Any opposed? Any opposed to renewing the bylaws? I'm not seeing any, so by a vote of 22 to 0, the motion carries. Our bylaws and policies are renewed for another year. Okay, From here, let's move on to our special event applications. We already covered Light Up the Season via the consent agenda, so we're all set with that. Next up is the Walk to End Lupus Now. This is a Class D event, about 5,000 people in attendance. It's a one-day event on April 25th. It's going to be in Piedmont Park on Oak Hill. Is Consuelo Farley or Terry Emond with us?
I'm here. Terry Iman's here,
Good
and
evening.
Consuelo is here as well.
Thank
Yes,
you.
good
Thank you
evening.
very much. Appreciate that, Terry. Okay, what would you like to tell us about this walk?
Well, I think this is year number 18. We've been doing it. We started out on the Triangle, and then we went to the Meadow and back to Oak Hill, and we just love having it. We have about 5,000 people show up for it. It is just a wonderful celebration of people who are living with lupus for them to know that the city of Atlanta recognizes that they have lupus. We have buses that take shuttles that go from the Marta 10th Street station to the park. So we encourage people to take Marta so that we're not clogging up any parking. And doing that, we put purple tents on. No amplified sound before. No amplified sound before 9 o'clock. I'm hearing something in the background.
Yeah, if you're not speaking, if you wouldn't mind putting your phone on
It
mute.
is, we don't have any amplified sound before 9 a.m. And then we're done. The event is done by about 2 and we're out of there by 3 o'clock. We have sanitation, we have police, we have, we have filed all of our permits. So what can we tell you? What do you need to know?
Let's open it up for questions then. Are there any questions about this festival or event? I guess I should call it. Yeah, Kay.
Who's handling security for the event?
We've got off-duty policemen handle it.
And who's in charge of the security?
It was Consuelo, who's in charge of the security? It just switched over this year, right?
Right, right. I have a name, but this is City of Atlanta.
I'll tell you what, while you're looking that up, let me ask you another question, maybe in parallel. Is there going to be alcohol served at the festival?
Yes.
At the
No alcohol. None. Nope.
No alcohol. Okay.
There's a Captain Ray Baldwin.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, those were my questions. Any other questions from anyone about this walk to end lupus? All right, if there's no questions, we'll take it to we'll ask for a motion. May I have a motion on this, please?
I'll move to support.
Thank you, Kay. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Kevin. Any discussion on the motion? Okay, all those in favor of the motion to support the Walk to End Lupus Now event, please raise your hands. Okay, I am counting 20 and a double, so 21 ayes. Let me lower your hands. Any opposed to the motion to support? All right, I'm not seeing any hands, so by a vote of 21 ayes to 0 nays, the motion carries. Congratulations. I hope you have a great festival, a great event, I should say.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Okay, next up on the agenda is Fitness ATL. It's in Piedmont Park. It's June 13th and 14th of next year. It's a Class E event, and this one's come up on our agenda for the past few months. Is Kia Lewis or Brad Lewis with us today? Kia Lewis, Brad Lewis, or anyone from Fitness ATL? Okay. Hey, Catherine King, if you wouldn't mind, when you jot the minutes, please make sure you note this is a no-show for the last 3 months, July, August, and September. In addition, we reached out in August and asked them to reschedule to a later date, and they assured us they were coming last month. So,
Okay, I will.
yeah, I want to keep track of that because I'm a patient man, but there's a limit to how many times we're going to reach out and ask them to keep deferring this one. Okay, thank you, Catherine. Appreciate that. Moving on, the Juneteenth Atlanta Parade and Music Festival. It's also in Piedmont Park. It's also next year in June, the 19th through 21st, the Class D event. About 8,500 participants. Not a new event. This has been going on for many years. Is a Mr. Bob Johnson or Brad Lewis here for that one? Bob Johnson or Brad Lewis or anyone from Juneteenth Atlanta Parade and Music Festival? Okay. And I would say that this one was recently amended for a new load-in date, but we are, Catherine, the exact same comments apply to this one. They've been here for July, August, and now September on the agenda with a no-show at each. And we did reach out to them last month and ask them to reschedule closer to the event date. They've declined to do so and confirmed their attendance. So,
Okay.
yeah, we may. My general rule is 3 strikes and you're out, but I'll reach out to them this month and give them maybe a nice personal touch and see if we can get them to come next month. Okay. You know what? I apologize, gang. I am losing my mind here. I need to do a motion to defer. Can I have a motion let's start with Juneteenth. Motion to defer.
So moved.
Thank
Second.
you, Kevin and Kay. All right. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor of deferring, please raise your hands. Counting 17, lowering the hands. Anyone opposed to the motion to defer? Seeing none by a vote of 17-0, the motion carries. That application is deferred. And I skipped over a Fitness ATL. I was more interested in getting the minutes updated. So again, I can have a motion to defer. This is Fitness ATL. And motion to defer?
So moved.
So moved.
That was Rich and Kevin. Okay, all those in favor, or any discussion on the motion? All those in favor of deferring, please raise your hand. Okay, I'm counting 2 dupes, so I'm counting 14 ayes, and I have lowered your hands. Anyone opposed? All right, I'm not seeing any. So by a count of 14-0, the motion carries, and Fitness ATL is deferred. Okay, the last special event. This is an amended event. It's a smart BTA, but we Stop the Violence. We covered that on consent. So we are good with our events. All right, from here, let us move on to alcohol licenses. First up on the agenda is Lewis Barbecue. This is a new business. It's a restaurant going in at 1544 Piedmont Road. Those of you that may not be familiar with that location, it's in Ansley Mall. It's kind of on the back side of the mall where the dry cleaners used to be. It's adjacent to the Beltline. It's Mr. John Lewis.
Hi guys, I'm here.
Welcome, Mr. Lewis. Where are you there? Okay, I gotcha.
Can you
Welcome.
hear
I'm
me?
glad you're here. And then is Karina Delgado here as well, or just yourself, Mr. Lewis?
We've got Mr. Chandler Bovitz. He's on the line also, and he's our project manager.
Excellent.
I can tell you a little bit about me and what our plans are, and then
Yeah,
maybe
we'd love that. I did want to thank you, by the way,
more
for attending the
specifics.
Piedmont Heights Civic Association meeting. We appreciate that flexibility. I usually attend those meetings, but I was not able to make that one. So, yeah, tell us a little bit about your intentions for this restaurant.
Okay. Well, I'm John Lewis. I'm originally from Texas. I've been in restaurants and food service for about 28 years now. I helped open the acclaimed Franklin Barbecue in Austin, Texas, and then the also acclaimed La Barbecue in Austin, Texas. After that, I moved to Charleston, South Carolina, and opened up Lewis Barbecue underneath my name. And that was in 2016. Since then, I've opened up a second Lewis Barbecue in Greenville, South Carolina in 2022, and Rancho Lewis, sort of a Tex-Mex kind of place in Charleston, also in 2022. During my 10 years there, I've previously served as an alcohol agent in all three of those restaurants. And during that time, we've had zero alcohol-related infractions. Lewis Barbecue Atlanta is about to be my biggest, baddest restaurant ever, and I'm very, very excited about it. I don't know if you guys have seen any of the construction going on at the back of Ansley Mall, but Atlanta is about to have the world's first rooftop smokehouse, which I'm very excited about. I have recently moved permanently to Atlanta, and this is going to take all my effort, and so I will be there every day. I hope to meet you guys there, but opening it, continuing it, Atlanta's my new home, and I'm very excited about that. I'd just like to know building this restaurant and handing it off to someone else to operate, seeing me every day. And I guess with no, don't do this.
Yeah, Mr. Lewis, your connection's breaking up. So, Mr. Bovitz, did I pronounce your name correctly?
You did, and I apologize. I'm not in a good position. I can get a camera on me.
No,
But I
that's
can pick
okay.
up where
That's
he left
okay. We
off.
got Mr. Lewis with us, so we know he's here.
Did you guys lose me for a second? I'm
We
sorry.
did. We did,
I'm
Mr.
on
Lewis.
a quick mining trip for sapphires in Montana right now, and it's a little spotty.
Okay. Okay. Good to know. So, appreciate you sharing that information. And I know I have been corresponding with your attorney as well, and they've shared a lot of information. So, appreciate that. I understand you're planning on opening in November, December timeframe with any luck?
That's the
That
plan.
is correct. Yeah.
Okay, great. And I know your attorney has shared with us the background information on your corporate members, so we appreciate that. You're currently zoned C1, but part of the Beltline overlay, so that gives you some latitude there. Lots of parking at Ansley Mall. I do have a question. I won't say the number, but is the rent figure in your application accurate?
Yes, it is.
That's a lot of pulled pork. All right. All righty. So again, I think I've handled a lot of these questions remotely that I would have in advance. Are there any questions from the community that haven't been addressed already? If there are, just raise your hand, please. All right. I'm not seeing any questions from the community. And again, having looked through this application and asking a lot of questions in advance, I'm not seeing any glaring red flags with this application. I know Piedmont Heights voted on that. Tim, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here, and this is Tim Berube from Piedmont Heights, and I too was unable to attend that meeting, so nice to meet you guys officially. And Piedmont Heights did vote to support this application unanimously. And if we're
Great.
ready for a motion, we can move forward with that. And let me ask, is this for both of those items or just the one?
Well, yeah, I guess we're going to cover it on one. I think I need to take two votes because technically we have an alternate location, but I would open the question and answer period up to both applications.
Okay.
So with that, we've got a recommendation of support from Piedmont Heights. Any other questions or comments? Okay, let me open it up to a motion then. Tim, would you like to make a motion?
Yep, sorry. Turned my head there for a second, but yeah, the motion from Piedmont Heights and is on the floor is to support this both of these applications.
Okay, great. Thank you, Tim. Is there a second?
This is Susan Canellis from Piedmont Heights, and I'd like to second.
Great. Thank you, Susan. Any discussion on the motion? And again, they're technically two separate applications. So I'm going to make this motion just for the first application, the main location, main bar, I should say. If there's no other discussion, we'll open it to a vote. All those in favor of the motion to support Lewis Barbecue, please raise your hands. Okay. I am counting 25 with a double, two doubles, 27. Let me lower your hands. Any opposed to the motion to support Lewis Barbecue? If so, please raise your hand. All right, I'm not seeing any. So by a motion of 27-0, the motion carries. So again, for the benefit of the larger group, Lewis Barbecue has two different locations within this venue, within the same address, where they serve alcohol. So they technically need a second license for the same location. And that's what we're referring to when we refer to the second application. It does have a separate application number, so I think we need to vote on it separately. So, Tim, would you like to make another motion for the second facility, the additional facility application?
Yes, motion is to support.
Thank you, Tim. Do we have a second?
Susan, support, or seconds again.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Susan. Any discussion? Not seeing any hands. All those in favor of supporting the second application, please raise your hand. Okay, I'm counting again. 25 with two doubles. So I'm counting 27 in favor. I'm lowering your hands. Any opposed? All right, I'm not seeing any. So by a vote of 27-0, the second location also passes. All right. Well, Mr. Lewis, we appreciate you being here. And yeah, good luck. You should go through the LRB with no problem. And we look forward to your restaurant opening soon.
Thank you guys very much.
All
If I
right.
can throw in a quick thing for people that live in the neighborhood, on October 11th, on the porch of Cook's Warehouse in Ansley Mall, we're going to do a little free sneak preview from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. that day. We'd love anyone from the neighborhood to come out, come meet me. I want to meet you guys, and I want to give you a little taste of what's to come.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. Well, thank you very much. You're welcome to stay to the end of the meeting, but your application's done, so you're welcome to leave as well as you wish.
Thank you guys very much.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Moving along, we have another alcohol application. Let me get my notes up on that one. Okay, folks. So this is Time Restaurant. It's a new restaurant. It's at 1937 Piedmont Circle. It's the former Denny's location that was then room service and then Atlantis. Is Miss Candace Burns here with us tonight?
Miss Burns is here, but this is a Hakeem Hilliard. I'm been engaged as counsel to assist her on this, so we're both here to present
Oh, okay.
requests.
Well,
Good to be
welcome,
with you all.
Mr. Hillard,
Thanks very much.
and Ms. Burns is here as well. All right.
Yes, hi Tom, how are you?
Oh, good, Candace. How
Yeah,
are you?
good.
All right. So appreciate both you being here. So Candace and I have corresponded a little bit in advance of this as well. And for those of you that may be having some deja vu, we covered a very similar application 2 months ago in our July meeting. And we didn't really want to rehash all that same discussion points in July. So for those of you that weren't here, I know we get a different membership profile each month. Let me briefly recap what happened in July, and then we'll focus our discussion on what on this new application going forward. So, Ms. Burns appeared here on July 16th. She presented an application, as I mentioned, it was almost identical to this one, but some few changes. We discussed many items at that meeting, and I think we had a pretty good debate on different things. The good news though is a lot of the items were resolved. We spent a lot of time on parking, for instance, and I think we came to an agreement on that. But unfortunately, I think there were some issues that weren't resolved. So I think the overall concern from NPU members and from Piedmont Heights members were nothing against Ms. Burns or the owner, Esther Tutu, but there were concerns that they could be unduly influenced by a third party in the operation of this establishment. And that third party is the landlord, who's a known person to the NPU. He had the former license at that location at Atlantis, and he's no longer eligible to hold a license. So that was the concern. Ms. Burns rather stated clearly that that was not the case, and different members of the community went on to share their data that they had found and concerns that supported that position. So after a very detailed discussion, we took it for a vote. There was a motion that was for denial, and that was unanimously supported by the community. So then subsequent to the NPU vote 2 months ago, I think APD requested additional information, and that application was subsequently withdrawn. So that brings us up to where we are today. It's now 2 months later. A new application has been filed that's essentially the same with a few changes. So again, that's the history. Tonight we want to focus on what's transpired recently and what's new with this application. So I guess Ms. Burns or Mr. Hillard, the first question is what was requested by APD? Why the change? What happened?
So I think it was a surprise, Ms. Burns, when we went back to APD, thinking this application was be going forward to the License Review Board. There was an issue with the corporate documents, and they were asking for information from the bank records that we were having trouble getting access to. And that's kind of the parts of the application that is not part of Section 1 of the NPU request, but based on that, and it was on advice of Officer Clark, who's the officer that handled this application previously and handled the new one, said you can make the request, it may be a delay in getting the information from the bank or establish a new entity. And so this new entity is the same as the previous one. It's owned by Ms. Tutu. The business is going to be operated by Ms. Burns. So effectively, for purposes of what was presented at the NPU previously, nothing about the operation or what she's described has changed in any way. But because there's a different corporate entity, she has to come back to the NPU again before it was able to go forward. And so we're happy to talk to you about the details of the application. It sounds like you kind of had an exhaustive review of those issues, but we're happy to talk about any of those issues that you'd like to at this time as well.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So basically, yeah, as you mentioned, the new application is essentially a new LLC at 1937 Hospitality Group LLC. And just to confirm, I think I heard you correct, Mr. Hillard, that so Esther Tutu is still the sole owner of this new LLC?
That's right.
All right. So no other investors. She's the only investor in this.
That's right.
Okay. And And let's see. So the application still states that there's live entertainment and customer dancing as the last one did?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So are there any questions or comments from the General Assembly, the body of the NPU? Any other questions or comments? Yeah, Rich?
Does the establishment, since there's music and dancing, does it fall within the distance from a residential neighborhood, 300 feet or 500 feet, whatever it is?
It's our understanding that we're in full compliance with that requirement. We can,
Yes, it does. I think the closest residential neighborhood is like 700 and something feet away, or maybe 600, but yes, it meets it.
Yeah, Rich, I can shed a little more information on that. There are new apartments that are directly across the street, well within less than 300 feet, but the city code carves out, for unknown reasons, it carves out apartment buildings as a private residence in this section of the code. So there are private residences that are very close, but they don't qualify under the alcohol code. All right, Vic Reinhold, do you have a question?
Yes, based on the application, it's listed as a restaurant only. But looking at the hours of operation and the live entertainment and dancing, it seems like it should fall under the category of a club.
well, so it is a restaurant. It meets the minimum requirements for a restaurant, and you can have customer dancing and live entertainment at a restaurant. And many restaurants have live entertainment, and live entertainment can be anything from a band to a piano. They consider that live entertainment today, and so it does meet the restaurant requirements. Um, and it's customer dancing. It's not they don't have nightclubs. I don't think they have nightclubs like they used to, where they had big, large dance floors where people go on the dance floor to dance. They're dancing in their place or sitting at a table. So it's not what you envision as a nightclub. Uh, uh, it is a restaurant, full service restaurant.
Okay, I just think of most full service restaurants not going much past 9 or 10 o'clock at night.
Uh, well, the hours on Tuesday to Thursday, I don't know if you've seen these, are 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. Friday and Saturday, 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. and Sunday, 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. And so I think that's trying to capture some of the people that have, work late, but, don't like to go to Waffle House and I don't know if Pancake House is still open in the middle of the night to get a good meal. So uh, there are a lot of people that stay out late that are, you know, that like to have somewhere to go to get good food. So
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Vic. All right, about Benjamin Terry. Mr. Terry, are you muted? Ben Terry, I think you're muted. You're still muted. Okay. Looks like we lost Benjamin Terry. Okay, any other questions or comments about this particular application? Okay, so I guess Ms. Burns, and we were fairly candid, in our correspondence on this. I know the last time you were in front of this NPU 2 months ago, the outcome, wasn't favorable. And in order, obviously, the desire would be to have a different outcome tonight if anything substantially changed. So I want to make sure I give you an opportunity to offer any sort of evidence with which or data you might want to share to dissuade members of the NPU that voted a certain way last time that something has fundamentally changed, more than just we have a new LLC that kind of masks some of the connections that were established last time. Is there anything you'd like to add to this NPU in hopes of changing that mindset we had previously?
Yeah, well, Tom, everything is still the same. Like I said the last time, this is my second, well, technically third time now before you guys. I've always been trying to get open. I've always had the same landlord. Nothing has changed. And I didn't think that it was fair that I was being kind of, you know, held to my landlord's bad decisions, but it is what it is. And so nothing has changed.
Okay, I appreciate that. Any other last call for questions, comments? All right, well, I'll open it up to a motion.
Yeah, this is Tim Berube again. And it sounds like, this meets the technical aspects that were laid out by the city, but short time frame, we've not really had a whole lot of time to research and understand all that. So from the neighborhood perspective, the similarity of this application to the previous one that ended up being pulled, the motion is to not support.
Okay, so Tim has made a motion to not support or deny the application. Is there a second to Tim's motion?
Second.
Was that Kevin?
Wiley.
Oh, Wiley, I'm sorry, Wiley. Your audio is coming through so clearly, I didn't even recognize you. All right, any discussion on the motion? All right, I'm not seeing any, so we will put it to a vote. All those in favor of the motion to not support or deny this alcohol application, please raise your hands now. Okay, I'm seeing 19 with two doubles in there, so a total of 21 in favor of the motion to deny. I'm lowering your hands. Anyone opposed to the motion that recommend denial? Okay, I'm not seeing any. So by a vote of 21 ayes and 0 nays, the motion to deny carries. So again, Ms. Burns, I thank you for joining us, and as always, you're very cordial and polite, and we do appreciate that. So thank you for coming here tonight. I know it wasn't necessarily something you wanted to do, but appreciate you being here.
Sorry. Yeah, no, thank you, Tom. I appreciate it.
All righty. Well, again, you're welcome to stay to the end of the meeting, but you're also welcome to go as well as you wish.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Have a good night. Yep.
All right. You
Bye-bye.
too. Have a good night. Okay. From here, let's move on to our variances that were not on the consent agenda. Wiley, would you like to run us through those? Oh, real quick. Rich, do you have a question?
Yeah, I think it'd be helpful to report to the NPU that the hearing before the Georgia Court of Appeals on Tokyo Valentino was held a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
It was a decision by the Board of Zoning Adjustment. It was argued, the city's case was argued by our state representative, Stacey Evans. I'm not sure when the Georgia Court of Appeals will render its opinion, but it's very an interesting process, and I thought that Ms. Evans did a wonderful job for the city.
All right. I appreciate that, Rich. I appreciate you sharing that. All righty. So if there's no other comments on those alcohol applications, we will move on to the variances. Wiley, you want to walk us through the Morningside variances?
Will do. So first up is V5170. Applicant seeks a variance special exception to reduce the minimum distance from front-facing garage doors. Must be recessed behind the front facade of the principal from 10 linear feet to 2 feet. This is at 1130 Cumberland Road. David, do you have a comment from MLPA? Or first of all, let's ask is the representative or the applicant here for Cumberland Road at 1130?
Yes, this is Hakeem Hilliard again at Shiller's Grubman Law Firm. I'm here this evening on behalf of Liam Holmes and this application and the next as well.
Okay, could you run through a brief description of what you're asking for and what the situation is here?
Okay, would you like me to share my screen, or do you want me to just kind of talk you through it first? Or
Share screen.
You can share your screen.
Okay. All right, thanks very much. I will do that if I can. Are you all seeing my screen now?
Yes, we are.
Okay, so starting right here, the property is right here at 1130 Cumberland Circle Northeast. This property, and I'm gonna go through a couple photos here. You'll see that the property is already largely constructed. So while we're here asking you for variances, we are also asking for forgiveness for developing this largely prior to the issuance of permits. I mean, not the issuance of permits, for the development of this outside of some of this standard that we're seeking relief from this evening. So these are just some photos of the condition of the property currently in construction. This is the site plan survey of the property. Jeez, okay, trying to be. I need my daughter here to help me with this, but this is the site of the property. You'll see that it's a irregularly shaped lot. The the request is the requirement requires that the garage face be recessed a total of 10 feet back from the front facing facade. Uh, this property was developed with the front facing facade only 2 feet back from the front facing facade. And so the request before you tonight, as it was described, is to approve the condition of the garage as it's currently constructed. Um, Again, notwithstanding the fact that we're here asking for forgiveness, at the same time we're asking for permission to support this request. We believe and are very confident that this meets the standard for the criteria of a variance. The fact that the home was built largely, or what the intentions of the owner of, I don't believe they were intended to violate any rules or regulations. The standards that the planning department is obligated to apply are those for variances as if that this product wasn't built. So what I'd like to talk about quickly is why we believe this variance would have been approved, notwithstanding the fact that it's been developed already. It's because there needs to be something unique about the size, shape, and topography of the lot. We believe this lot is obviously irregularly shaped. In talking to the Morningside Lenox Parks neighbors and a couple of meetings we've had, and we thank you for David Lyle for coordinating those discussions. There's some belief that this lot is not unlike other lots in the area, or that the fact that the property was built, or the fact that the design is not desirable, there might be grounds not to support the variance. Community impact and general welfare of the public is relevant in deciding variances, but in terms of satisfying the criteria, we believe it's irrefutable that this lot is irregularly shaped, and that the variance is appropriate for review as a result. And we believe that this is, although the 10-foot setback is required for garages, we did identify 3 or 4 within the vicinity of this property on Cumberland that have garages that are front facing, that are not recessed by 10 feet, a full 10 feet. So we don't believe that it's injurious to the general welfare, that it impacts the neighborhood in a negative way. And so for those reasons, we would respectfully request that you thoughtfully consider these requests in this variance. And I just have to say, with David Lyle, he's opposed this all the way through the process, but it's been most gracious handling of this application that I've dealt with where I've had opposition. So I appreciate that, and so happy to answer any questions you all might have.
Any questions from the floor? Yeah, Rich?
So let me try and understand. So the house was originally permitted with a 2-foot setback for the garage. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's my understanding. And we had, and I think in one of the meetings, one of our original meetings, the developer was present and he presented a copy of the approved plans from the city. You know, it's not an excuse for not independently trying to verify, but he bought the house, bought the property with a permitted set of plans that after construction began, the city came out and reviewed it and saw that it was not in compliance. And so this particular property is not an example of where he came in and built it with no permits. There was a permit that he was building pursuant to.
I understand that. So
Yeah.
permit was granted and it showed a 2-foot setback, but when the building was actually constructed, it was constructed 10 feet back. Is that correct?
No. The requirement is that the garage be set back 10 feet.
I'm sorry. So
And
the
it was,
permit was for 10 feet back, but when it was actually constructed, it was 2 feet back. Is that correct?
my understanding was it permitted with the design that it's showing right now incorrectly. And my client did not go back and correct the plans or didn't check the plans. It was a permitted set of plans. And he had to go backwards and the city came and made him aware of the violation. And so he stopped and was ordered to stop and correct the error.
So in other words, I'm still a little foggy on this. So it was built out of, even though it was built out of compliance, is that correct?
That's right.
Okay. It was permitted in compliance, correct?
It was originally permitted.
To be compliant with the rules and the regulations.
My understanding that the original permit did not properly reflect the setback. And it was built to the permit that was issued, but then he was advised that that permit was incorrect and he needed to correct the error.
All right, so it was permitted as it basically permitted incorrectly by the city. Is that what you're saying?
That's my understanding. Yes.
Okay. All right.
That's not a basis for our request or
I understand.
support, but
Okay.
yes.
Thank you.
All right. Dion?
You said this was Cumberland Circle at the beginning and showed a
Cumberland Road.
different aerial view. This is Cumberland Road, correct? Because the first view you showed was Cumberland Circle, and that's not the property.
Oh, I'm sorry. Jeez. Okay. You got me.
All right.
I'm sorry about that.
Okay,
That
great.
was me trying to be organized. I can.
Any other questions for the applicant? All right. David, do you want to take over and, oh, wait.
Yeah.
Vic Reinhold, wait. Sorry, David.
Yes.
Okay.
I just have one question for Mr. Hilliard. You said multiple times it was your understanding that this was the case. So you don't know factually if this was the case?
I've seen the plans. They've been presented. They were shared at the original neighborhood meeting on the Zoom. So when I say I was not involved during the permitting process. So I can tell you what the plans say. I can't tell you, I can't independently say I know how that all came together. I do know that there was a permitted set of plans that were not accurate, that did not meet the code. And so I do know that. Now, my client purchased the property with a permitted set of drawings at that time.
But was this the permitted set of drawings? I don't believe so. That when he purchased the lot, he changed the design of the structure.
Yeah, but the permitted set of plans that he did purchase it with were incorrect.
Okay, that's a different thing I just said. When he purchased the lot, there was a different house on it. It was still partially constructed, and that permit was a different permit. So he re-permitted with this plan. Is that correct?
Yeah, the permit was approved this way. Yes.
Okay. That's
Yeah, I guess the
He
point,
didn't purchase
and I don't want
this,
to
he
split
didn't
hairs
purchase
here.
this plan with that lot.
Yeah, I don't want to
He
split hairs
purchased,
here. I'll just say this because I don't think that these questions, I understand why it's important for you all to understand, but it's for
well,
purposes, I'm not trying to establish that my client did everything perfectly. This
right.
project was permitted with the garage setback the way it was developed incorrectly. That's true. And so he's now asking for permission after the fact. That's not a basis for a variance because we
No,
made a mistake or the city did something wrong. We're not claiming that. So that's why, as I said at the meetings that we've attended previously, what the BZA is going to review and what the city staff is going to review is none of these questions. It's really whether there's something unique about the size and shape and topography of this lot and whether the variance is justified under the circumstances.
and I think and I want to jump in here, Wiley, if you don't mind.
Sure.
We had several neighbors in our discussions, and to Mr. Hillard's, he made a very good attempt to contact the neighbors and get, either support or opposition. We also had another neighbor actually go around door to door and got the neighbors to come to the meeting and talk to us about this. The lot is irregularly shaped, as many lots in Morningside are, and builders tend to find a way to put a house on that lot that fits within the parameters. It was discussed that the original plan or the website that has this house listed on it actually has a garage on it that is in the back of the house, which would have fit within the building guidelines and would not have required any variances. So I don't know why he chose to do it this way. Doing it this way and with the neighbors objecting to this is why the MLPA did not vote to support this variance. Had it been through normal procedures and been done before any construction had happened and the neighbors had gotten involved in all of the plans, the outcome would be we would not have supported the plans. We would have said, you need to figure out a house that can fit on that lot better and stay within the building envelope.
All right, any other questions? Vic, your hand is still up. Do you have another question?
You're muted, Vic.
No, I don't.
Okay, thank you. All right, Don Cantrell?
Yes, I'm the immediate neighbor to that property, and so I probably have more details on that whole thing. It's been a 5-year saga, 3 years under previous owner, 2 years almost under this owner. And I can understand why a lot of people are confused about the scenario, but I want to throw in a few things that not to do with this permitting that's already going on in the last couple of years. I want to address the justifications that were put into the application for the variance, and it's discussions of extraordinary and exceptional conditions, peculiarity of conditions, unnecessary hardship, those kind of things. This lot, as you can see on screen, is triangular. It's not a highly desirable building lot, but that's not unusual for corner lots in this neighborhood. In fact, there are 10 lots of the same shape, basically within 3 blocks on North Highland. The applicant that purchased the property a couple of years ago is, according to their website, a very experienced builder with 39 homes coming soon and 17 homes that are listed as projects. This lot and the other 10 lots have been the same since the 1930s. So there's no surprises here. There's no changes. And the justifications that were used were, I'm using some quotes here. Enforcement of the zoning ordinance would prevent construction of a garage that is consistent with the character of the neighborhood. And it is true that there are a few double car front facing garages around the neighborhood. You can drive around and find a few, but they are the exception rather than the rule. And it's not accurate to say, as it does in the application, that this garage is needed to be consistent with the character of the neighborhood. That is simply not true. Another phrase very similar is the applicant said that the proposed garage location is in harmony with the existing development pattern, as if this was a subdivision on a blank piece of land somewhere. There is no existing development pattern within sight of this property. Also, the phrase force a redesign resulting in a less functional and aesthetically pleasing structure. Mr. Hilliard mentioned that the owner purchased the property. It was from a previous a builder that had property previously, and they indeed had plans, and I've seen the plans. I have a copy of the plans with the garage on the rear of the property. Now, he mentioned that it's under his impression that the city said those plans were not in compliance. I'm not sure that the compliance issue had anything to do with garages. There were a lot of other things about that builder that were not in compliance. I would want to hear something specific about the garage. I do not know that there was a garage issue with previous plans, other than Liam Holmes, the current owner, said in a previous meeting that the reason they changed the plan was because it was inconvenient to turn around and drive out of the garage in the backyard, which I pointed out there are very few lots in this neighborhood where you can have a rear garage and turn around before you back out. So those kind of things. And also, applicants said that it's necessary to allow for reasonable use of the property similar to neighboring properties. And this development plan, the structure, bears no resemblance to neighboring properties, many of which do not have a garage. The house straight across the street has a similar shaped lot, does not have a garage. So
okay,
that's my batch of comments. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Don. Remember, trying to keep these comments succinct and on point. Good information, Don, but we need to move along. Benjamin, you have a comment or question?
Is my microphone working now?
It is.
I think Mr. Hilliard has admitted that there's not a legal basis per se that the variant should be allowed, but he's made a good case that morally it should be allowed because the city gave the permit when it probably shouldn't have, and the lot is very irregularly shaped. So my sentiment is to allow this to move forward. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, David, I think we've kicked it around a bit. You wish to make a motion?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that we oppose this variance.
Is there a second?
Seconded.
All right, discussion of the motion. All right. All those in favor of the motion to deny this variance request, raise your hands.
Uh-oh. Let me. Sorry about that.
Tom, you counting? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15.
Yeah, 15. We got two people voting for two, so I would say 17, Wiley.
All right.
I'll lower the hands.
Those opposed to the motion to deny or not support. Two.
That's what I see.
All right. So 17 to 2, the motion carries to deny support of this variance application. Next up, V25-171. The applicant seeks a variance from the zoning ordinance to reduce the west side yard from required 7 feet to 6.3 feet, increase the maximum lot coverage for the required 50% to 56, increase the maximum lot coverage from 50% to 56.6, increase the paved area in a required front yard from the required 1/3 of the total area to 41.6%, increase the maximum width of the driveway from the required 20 feet to 38.5 feet, and increase the maximum height of the retaining wall in the rear yard from the required 6 feet to 8.6 feet. This is at 952 Cumberland Road. As the applicant present to discuss this request.
Yes, Hakeem Hilliard again. May I share my screen?
You may.
All right. All right. Let's see here. So this is the site, 952 Cumberland Road. I think I got the right house this time, right here. I think you all may be familiar with this, but I wanted to start with that. This is the site plan for the property. I appreciate Wiley for sharing the variance request, but I wanted to clarify, I did share with you and Mr. Lyle after the Midtown Morningside Lenox Park zoning meeting that the applicant submitted a revised plan, and I provided to Mr. Lyle. I provided it to Wiley Somerville a few days ago. So this request is this request is no longer 5 variances. There's 2 variances being requested. This is the plan that I distributed to you all with the revised plan. It's really now it's been reduced to a side building setback on the west side, right here, from 7 feet to 6.3 feet, and then a rear yard. The fence height in the rear, it's a 6 feet allowed, and there's and we're proposing an 8.6 inch height for the fence in the rear. I'll show you the rear yard in particular. I was there today and I took a picture of the existing retaining wall, which is 6 feet. And what we're proposing to do is to put a, what did I say, 1.6 feet. It's not been designed yet. We're welcome for input, but either a wood or rail here. This is the rear yard, and so you'll see that there needs to be something here to prevent people from falling off the edge. So that's really for the rear setback. That's what the request is for. This is the home. Again, it's been constructed. We're asking for forgiveness and permission at the same time. I'm just showing you views of the home here.
Hey, while you're doing that, Wiley, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
Sure. We voted on the original application, which was the same variance number. The new application, the new amended one, did not get submitted until the September timeframe. So it has not been voted on, although the first one had all of the variances in it.
I'll tell you, for purposes of the city's review, if you're reducing the request, there's no requirement to re-advertise. You've heard all of the requests.
Right. So we're voting on the original package right now, correct?
You want to vote on the 3 requests that have been.
That's what's been consistent with the prior meeting. So I think we need to stick with the consistency.
That's fine. Yeah, I didn't know if you wanted to take some.
I mean, you've submitted the plans and you addressed the other 3. But I think we still need to encompass everything in the same package.
Okay.
And I'll be happy to explain to the room what he changed, which if you look at the plan, you can see the driveway, which takes up the huge portion of the front yard. And it was also causing the pervious ratio out of whack. So that has been, it's going to be destroyed and rebuilt to a 20-foot conforming driveway, which should fix 3 of the variances that are in here. but you still have the other two. And this is an example of one. This is the same builder, if y'all didn't realize that. And in this house, he was mindful enough to put a 10-foot setback to the front garage doors. So he knew the rules, which I thought was interesting. And when we talked to him about the side yard setback, he blamed it on the person that poured the walls for the basement, pouring them wrong. So rather than addressing it at that point and repouring it, he kept building. And the wall that you showed in the back and you said was 6 feet, that's 8'6" already. So, and it's still going to need something on top of it to keep you from falling off of it because it towers over the neighbors. And there's one in here that the variance wasn't listed, and it's because, I don't know why it's not listed as a variance request, but if you look at the plan, you can see the corner of that 8.6-foot wall is in the buffer for the stream. So that's having to be torn down and rebuilt there also. So it leaves the variances that need to be addressed, and we are kind of at the mercy, and I don't know how to follow up with this and go back and check to make sure that driveway is torn up and replaced. So I need some guidance on that. How do we get an assurance that that's actually going to happen?
Well, both of these properties are subject to a stop work order. One had a citation, and so the city is the options are to obtain variances or to bring the properties into compliance. And so you don't have to worry about that. I'll make sure that whatever it ends with is going to be lawful. So,
and I'm concerned about you're going to need and Wiley, correct me if I'm wrong, but is he going to need another variance when he goes to put something on top of that wall in the backyard?
I would imagine
it's going
it's
to
in
take
violation of 6 feet already. Yeah. Tom, I guess maybe a little direction. It seems to me that with the late 2 different amendments were submitted to the permit, removing some of those variances. And like I said, got a copy of that yesterday or day before.
Yeah.
After the agenda for the meeting was published by the city.
Right.
And so the fact that MLPA has not had a chance to study that and make sure that those changes are in fact in favor of their view of what's going on in the property, it seems to me that given that they haven't had a chance to go through the normal process, which they would have had to do had the original variance request come through complete, that voting on a package that no longer exists is a bit premature. So would it be appropriate to vote to defer this one until MLPA has had a chance to completely review that, get those assurances that the changes will in fact take place or have taken place, and then come back around again for whatever variances are left that need to be cared of?
Right. Yeah, I would agree that it sounds like deferring until we have enough time to adequately review this, we being including MLPA, is the right thing to do. I guess my question is the Board of Zoning is scheduled to hear this in October, right? I think
that's right.
If I can interject, Tom, we cannot defer.
Right.
The applicant can choose to defer, but we cannot do it without his approval.
Okay, so then I guess, David, the question would be then for your motion, would you make a motion that we could vote on and include conditions or not, and then pass it on to the BZA based on what we found out?
Trying to think how we'd make that motion.
Yeah,
that's why
I mean,
was
well, I guess
sticking with the original five ones that we've got here, because they're still on the property.
Wiley, to Kay's point, and we have something similar with alcohol applications, we can't defer, but the applicant can. So I would propose that we ask the applicant if they're willing to defer in order, and they initiate the deferral through, through the city such that MLPA can then review the final package.
All right, I've got a question about that because if we're going to be reviewing the final package, we still have a driveway sitting there. He's got a stop work order on there, so he can't do anything on that property right now.
That's what I'm hearing. Yeah.
Yeah. So how are we going to go back in and be assured that, what I'm trying to figure out how to make a motion.
Yeah, well, I mean, David, I guess there's only three options here, right? Either the applicant can defer, or we can make a motion to approve, or we can make a motion to recommend denial.
Okay.
Debbie.
Yeah, let me I gotta follow my rules. Wiley, why don't we you want to call on the folks with their hands raised?
Yeah, and that was up first, and then Debbie quickly afterwards.
Annette McBrayer.
She's muted.
And we can't see her.
Can't see her.
Yeah, muted and off camera. Why don't we
Wait, we're unmuted now.
Okay, I'm no longer muted. Is there any way, well, let me start over. Voting on this variance as it stands now, unless we deny it, gives him the approval of this NPU with all 5 points, which includes the driveway issue. That would be countermand to anything you're trying to accomplish with the driveway. So unless we can break up the variance, and Kay would know better on this, but unless we can break this up and vote to approve part and to deny part, you're not going to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, I mean, we could approve with conditions. I think that's kind of the mechanism we would use there to separate things out.
I think that's what needs to be done. Because with this, I mean, we have not heard from the attorney that he's going to withdraw or condition or anything else. So I think we have to move forward with protecting our own beliefs.
No, absolutely. And that would come either in the form of a blanket denial or approval with conditions. But I'm not clear that everyone is aware enough of the conditions that we would be including to say approval with conditions.
So Wiley,
Debbie, are you there or what?
Debbie's microphone is not working, but she's texting me.
Okay.
She said we can have a motion made to approve with the condition that the driveway be corrected.
But that's only one of several of the edits to the application. Three of the 5
Can I say
conditions.
something to make this a lot easier? I think this is tough listening because I can make this a lot easier for you all by eliminating 3 of the variances out of the 5 on this application. And we've made that correction. Why I think you received the amended referral certificate that was issued by the city. So they're only reviewing 2 variance requests. That means that we are duty bound by law to bring the other 3 conditions of the property into compliance because we're no longer seeking relief. And even those other 2 that remain pending, if they are denied, we are going to have an immediate requirement to bring those 2 conditions into compliance as well. So there's no step that's required to make us comply with the 3 that we're removing, that the city has accepted. And I provided you the formal document from the city so there'd be no confusion or no smoke and mirrors. Those requests have to mean that property has to be brought in compliance. It can't happen, however, until this process is concluded, because as somebody correctly stated, there's a stop work order on the property and we can't do anything until new permits are issued. And so that this process has to be completed. And so my client would like resolution one way or the other, which is the reason why I don't have the authority to seek a deferral. But I hope you all find comfort in the fact that you have the official referral certificate that's been modified by the planning department, which means when this goes to the BZA on the 3rd, They're not reviewing 5 requests. They're reviewing 2 requests for this property. And I'm happy to send that to you if you like it.
Hakeem, I got a question for you. I mean, how did you get the referral?
How did I get it?
How did you get it? Yeah, because you still had the same 5 issues. So did you just tell them that you're fixing it?
So this whole project, I mean, the site plan that you're looking at is the existing conditions. So we didn't have to modify the plan because we are removing requests because we've committed to come into the city. If you're not going to request the variance, then somebody's going to tell you they're aware that we don't comply with these 5 conditions. They reviewed this plan before we submitted the application, and they confirmed formally with the referral certificate that we needed 5 variances to bring the property into compliance. We're eliminating 3, so the city's going to say if you're not going to apply for the variances, that you need to meet those 3 conditions of the property into compliance. If you're asking for 2 variances, we'll wait to see whether those are approved or denied, and we'll either make you bring the property into compliance or you'll be able to build pursuant to the variances if the BZA grants them. So there's no mystery to this. That's how that process works. And we don't have there's no way to avoid the process because we're in the process. We've availed ourselves of the city process by admitting that these are violations that need to be corrected in some way, either by getting variances or bringing the property into compliance. And you mentioned the stream buffer in the rear. There's no request for a stream buffer variance, but we haven't modified the plan because we can't apply while there's a stop work order. But we've committed because when this process ends, the city's going to make us comply with the stream buffer requirement. So that condition that you highlighted, David, that we talked about previously has to be cured. I hope that makes it more palatable, but why I think it's in everybody's interest that we go forward. And I don't think there's anything you did not hear because what you heard tonight is less than what you heard before, not more, because we didn't talk about 3 of the requests that have been eliminated.
Well, this is where I'm.
Debbie.
Oh, thank you.
Debbie,
I'm finally
is your
back.
mic working now, Debbie?
I think so. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I think Hakeem did a pretty good job of describing the process from his end. So let me help describe the process from the NPU side. I realize that there is some confusion over the original application and the amended application. I don't think we've seen the new referral certificate, so we are kind of flying blind here.
So we have a new referral certificate that lists the 2 applications, the 2, I believe.
Okay, good. Okay.
But it came in September.
Great. That's right. It was another last minute thing.
Yeah.
So what I would recommend from...
Not yesterday.
That's when I got it today.
Well,
okay, can I finish, please?
I'm sorry.
Thank you. So what I would recommend from the NPU side and from the neighborhood side is to either make a motion to support or deny the application, but to include the 3 variance corrections that will be needed to satisfy the changes that Hakeem described as having to be cured. So one would be correcting the driveway. One would be perhaps a fence or a railing no higher than X number of feet. And I would also include that a stream buffer application be submitted, or that portion of the retaining wall be removed from the plans. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So in essence, it would be voting on the conditions as outlined in application amendment 2.
Yeah,
right?
the conditions would be how the neighborhood would expect that the 3 variances that are no longer being requested are corrected. So that would be, David, that would be your way of ensuring that those things actually happen. Because I know you've got a concern that they're saying they're going to change the driveway, but maybe they won't. Well, this will give you some documentation, some official documentation that it needs to get done.
And I'm happy to write a letter to commit to that too.
And that would be terrific as well, because we know where you live.
Right. I understand what you're saying, but my motion is going to be to deny all 5. I'm not going to motion to approve any of them.
Okay, but you don't have 5 variances on the table anymore. You only have 3 or 2.
Okay, so I'm going to motion to deny 2.
Okay.
But then I'm going to put a condition in that he fixes the other 3.
And then if you want to do it that way, and also add the conditions that the other 3 be corrected and be very specific. But what's going to be really important from the NPU perspective is that there's a very clear understanding on why we're denying those 2 variances. It can't be because we got the amended referral certificate late. It can't be that we just don't like the property. It has to be for some very specific reasons, or the BZA will literally blow us off. And those would be communicated in an email from Tom or Wiley to the BZA so that they have that information in advance of making a decision.
I knew you were going to pull me back into this, Debbie.
Yeah, there's no way to avoid it. Sorry.
No, that's fine. But to be candid, I would need some help from Wiley and from Morningside of exactly what those reasons are.
Yeah, and I can help too for another couple of weeks. Then
Great.
All right.
sort of go out of life for a while.
So where do we go from here?
Okay. So tell me, if your motion is to deny those 2 variances, help us out. What would be the reasons for denial?
The reason for denial is they do not fit within the neighborhood standards. They're outside of the building box that's allowed by the zoning committee or by the zoning, and the wall is already constructed and it is out of compliance. When it didn't need to be out of compliance, they built the backyard up to make it flat and put this huge wall back there holding it up.
Okay.
So had the builder paid closer attention while that basement was poured, he could have fixed one of those variances right then, but chose not to.
And instead chose to ask for forgiveness.
Yeah, and kept building.
Okay. Okay, and
so from the standpoint, so from the standpoint of MLPA, if they had originally come to you with only those 2 variance requests, we would have
denied it. Because there's no reason that there's no reason that that house couldn't have been shifted or whatever to fit and not need that side variance. Because I believe the original plans did not have it over the line, according to the builder. So that wouldn't even been there at the beginning if he submitted the plans.
And do we know when it was discovered that the footprint was extended into the setback?
No. But there is a stop work order on the property.
For the whole, okay.
Yeah, for all of the variants, all the problems that are on it.
Okay.
Because I can't believe that the city would have approved a 8.6 foot retaining wall in the back either. So I don't know how that got into the mix.
I think the stop work order was placed on it for one issue on the property because it was a citation for one single issue. But as part of that, they reviewed the property and identified compliance issues that needed to be addressed simultaneously. So that would be incorrect. What I
Okay.
just described as well.
What was the one issue that they went out and put the stop work order on for?
I have to kind of figure it out for you and let you know. I wasn't involved until after we got to the variance stage.
Was that prompted them to go to court, or is that a different issue?
That was the issue that had to go to court. That had the single issue on the property, but
And how was that resolved?
I'm sorry?
How was that resolved?
The ticket was resolved with the fine. Ordinarily, they would hold the ticket in abeyance in court until it was resolved, but the judge allowed it to be resolved based on evidence that an application for variance had been filed, and the property is subject to citation again if for whatever reason the variance application were not pursued or withdrawn and the condition wasn't addressed. I don't see it in this case because the code enforcement office and I spoke about this. And they're informed of the process for this very purpose, so that there's not non-compliance left. So it's either got to be approved or the conditions have to be resolved.
And I want to go drill a little further on that one. You went to court with them for the issue, so you don't remember what it was?
It was one of the issues in the 952. I can get it for you. It had to do with the.
I think we asked about this previously, and we didn't get an answer there either. So.
I can send you a copy of the citation if that's relevant for you. I'm not hiding the ball from you. It wasn't. It was my charge was to try to bring the property into compliance, either by bringing it into compliance by demoing portions of the property to bring it into compliance, or to get variances. And so the court process had already begun. They'd been to court a couple of times when I was engaged. I actually didn't know that there was a citation, and so I was taking some time getting the applications together when I learned that there was a citation and there was the court was imposing some time restrictions on them to get it done. So I went there to resolve the ticket, not to go through it. And quite frankly, I didn't know all the compliance issues at the time. I learned them after the fact. We spent some time with the planning department. That's why I know what's being sought right now was reviewed over the course of a couple of weeks with the planning department, and they determined what the variance requests were. We didn't weigh in on what should or shouldn't have been requested.
Okay, so Wiley, I can't profess that I'm knowledgeable of all these issues, but we have batted this one around quite a bit here. I think we need to bring this to a resolution and move forward. So as I understand it, we can make, Morningside wants to make a motion to deny the entire variance request. I guess the question is, do we have sound reasoning on those two issues that aren't going to be excluded or corrected to recommend denial? Do we feel that those are adequate reasons?
I think you're going to need a second first, and then you can talk about that.
Yeah, I'm not making a motion.
No, I know.
Oh, I gotcha. I'm just trying to move us off the dime here.
Yeah. To move it off the dime, I will make the motion to deny all 5 requests. Or deny variance V-25-171 as presented.
Second.
Okay, and that was let's see, Jonathan Rich seconded. Okay, so now do we need to discuss the actual reasoning of the denial or the recommendation for denial?
Oh, we've kicked that around quite a bit. The open question is what happens to the 3 that were removed in the Second Amendment?
Well, if the 3 were removed from the Second Amendment, then we're really only denying the 2. Is that correct?
Right, because they aren't there to deny.
They're not there. So we've got a motion to deny 2 elements of this variance application. Is that your motion, David? As I understand it, the other 3 don't exist.
The other 3 are not on the amended. I still am not 100% clear how they got off of it without it being fixed. So we just kind of got them off of there and we're hoping. Hakeem, you're shaking your head. Answer me.
I mean,
Just because
the process is what it's been for the 30 years I've been paying attention.
Okay.
The city has a process. There's no smoke and mirrors. When we decided to eliminate 3 of the variances, we went through the formal process of notifying the planning department that we were eliminating 3 of the variances. They issued a new referral certificate that only included the 2 remaining variances. The assumption is, and the explicit assumption is that if we are eliminating variance requests, those conditions of the property that we were seeking variances from must come into compliance. It's under their purview now. They're not gonna stand. So there's only one amendment. If we're talking about 2 amendments. The one amendment was to eliminate 3 variances, and I told you that the day after your meeting, David, on September the 3rd, and I obtained a referral certificate a few days later, and I provided that to you. So I'm not sure why it's a mystery, but that's what it is.
Could somebody please describe what exactly the 2 variances are remaining?
The 2 variances that are remaining are reducing the west side setback from 7 feet to 6'3", and to increase the permitted rear yard retaining wall from 6 feet to 8.6 feet.
Thank you.
Now, if those were presented prior to construction, we would have denied them.
Okay, so again, a motion's been made and a motion's been seconded. At this point, we're getting clarification on the motion.
Okay.
So the motion is to deny the 2 variances that we have in front of us. Is that correct?
I think the motion was to deny all 5 of the variances.
Okay, but it was my understanding that 3 of those variances have been officially removed.
Right, you're absolutely right, but the motion was made to deny the 5.
Okay,
so they either have to withdraw that motion,
amend the motion,
or to vote it.
Is that right? So David, would you care to amend your motion, or do you want?
Okay, I will amend the motion to deny the west side setback and the rear retaining wall.
Rich, are you seconding that motion?
Second.
I think we've had discussion on this motion. Is there any additional discussion on the motion?
This is Kevin. Raise my hand. I think suggestion that maybe we tie the motion to the date of the referral certificate, so we're clear that it's just those 2. Maybe say received by. And that's agreeable.
Yes. Yeah.
David, you made the motion. You're agreeable with that? We're going to tie the motion to the referral certificate.
And I have it dated September 8th.
No, it's the Second Amendment is dated September 12th, 2025. The most recent referrals.
It would be the received date, Sam, from the city.
Riley, you're closer to this than I am. That's September 12th.
I'm looking at the Second Amendment referral document, received 9/12, issued 9/12. If I can blow it up big enough to see it. Received 9/12.
Okay. So, David, are you agreeable to amend your motion to deny the west side setback and the rear retaining wall with a condition that we tie that motion to the referral certificate dated September 12th? Is that your motion?
Yes.
Rich, you second that motion? That's a yes, Rich? I'm sorry, I looked down. Yep, I'll take that as a yes.
Second.
All those in favor of the motion as described, please raise your virtual hands now. Okay, we're leveling off at 15 with one double. So I'm counting 16 ayes. I'm lowering your hands now. All those opposed to the motion as described, please raise your hand. All right, I'm not seeing any. So by a count of 16 ayes and 0 nays, the motion to deny with a condition carries. All right, thank you, team. I appreciate everybody's patience through that one.
Thank you.
All righty. And the next two variances we covered on consent agenda, so we don't need to review those again. Next up, we have a text amendment, another zoning ordinance for a piece of legislation. Wiley, do you want to run us through that one briefly?
Where are we here? Zoning ordinance, Councilmember Howard Shook is substituted by the zoning committee to amend the 1982 zoning ordinance of the city of Atlanta as amended so as to create a new overlay entitled Northwest Atlanta Quality of Life Regulation Overlay District for the purpose of limiting certain users, to amend the official zoning map and for other purpose. It's my understanding that this overlay, and Debbie, if you're still with us, can explain a little bit more of it, is that it really does not apply currently done, and it's anticipated it will be restricted out of NPU-F.
Yeah.
So
further to that, Wiley, as I understand it, it's supposed to be limited to District 7. It's supposed to exclude the Armour Drive and Otley portion. And there's an initiative underway to redraw the map accordingly. So when that map is drawn, it would not be relevant to NPU-F at that point. So I think what we can do is make a motion. I would say we make a motion to approve this with a recommendation attached to that motion that we have the map redrawn to exclude Armour Drive and Otley. Wiley, I don't want to steal the floor from you here.
that's quite all right. I was frantically trying to get a copy of the amended one from the last one into the chat.
All right. While you do that, is there a question from, is it pronounced Kathy McClure?
Yes. 1 second here. So let me hit my video. My name is Kathy McClure. I participated, well, I want to make sure I understand the motion. I participated in the meeting in front of NPU-B, which covers 10 of the 11 neighborhoods in District 7. And I believe the map as drawn with regard to this ordinance reflects the newly drawn lines. And my understanding was there was only one neighborhood that was not within NPU-B, and that was Lindbergh Morosco. Is that your understanding?
Nope.
Is Lindbergh Morosco in NPU-E? No.
No.
Well.
Oh, NPU-F?
No.
I'm sorry. It's not an NPU-F, correct?
It's not an NPU-F.
Okay.
Lindbergh
So
Martin Manor is
motion
NPU-F.
then is
Lindbergh
to.
Morosco's on the west side of I-85.
Okay, so this is an error, I guess.
Right.
And your motion is to return it back and say we don't have anything to do with this, basically.
Yeah. I mean, well, let me first call on Debbie, who I think can shed some light on this. Debbie, do you have something to add?
Yeah, this is actually a staff error, but unfortunately, it included a very small portion of NPU-F at the very southern tip in the Armour-Otley area. It's kind of a crazy place. And technically, when you read the ordinance, it doesn't even qualify to be included because it's not near any residential property. It's not a commercial, it's a total commercial area. There's no residents there. So it really doesn't belong as part of our within our NPU. And I think Tom's recommendation to approve it or not, depending on how you feel about the overlay content, would be to correct the map to exclude that portion of Armour Otley. It's just a tiny portion, but it's kind of it's in a kind of a stupid place, actually. And I've already advised Alex Wan's office. They agree with me. It doesn't belong in this ordinance. What it will require is for Alex or someone on the on council to actually take that piece off of the map to get it corrected, because the Office of Zoning Development doesn't think they've made a mistake.
Okay, sounds great.
Idiots.
Thank you for
Sorry.
the explanation.
All right, I appreciate that. Both Kathy and Debbie. Todd Corley, do you have a comment or question?
Hey, I do have a question. And to clarify, is this the overlay district where they are restricting Airbnb?
Yes, it is. I can answer that question.
Okay. And then my next question is, do we have any representatives from APD on the line still? I assume not at this point.
I don't believe so. I'm not
Okay.
seeing any.
The reason I ask is because, I think that this legislation is very impactful to the community because, and again, without having representation here to answer some of these questions, is going to be hard to really understand. But the things that come to my mind is how many people within this geographical area already have Airbnb, one, and then two, what is the intent behind this legislation? Right? Because I assume that if there are people who are operating Airbnb within this geographical area already, that we're going to negatively impact those property owners. And I don't think that's fair, one, if they haven't been properly notified. So here we are being asked to vote on potential legislation of an overlay district without a correct map, without representation from the city or Atlanta Police Department to tell us, have Airbnbs in this geographical area had a high number of 911 calls? Have they been, prone to negative experiences in the community? I think we don't have any of those answers, right? And I don't think it's fair that we vote on something without, one, those answers, and without, two, an accurate depiction of what the map really is. And
All
I
right.
get it. We say that it's just going to be adjusting a line, but we don't know that because we don't have the actual map that we would be voting on.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Corley. Let's hear from a couple other folks, and then we'll put together the motion. Benjamin Terry.
It would seem the affected property owners are almost exclusively in NPU-B. Would a motion to defer be in order so that it'll give the city time to redraw this line and take it off our agenda?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would do a condition either way that the map be redrawn. And I'm not sure a deferral will accomplish that. To your point, this would affect no one in NPU-F, even if the map stayed the same in regarding the Airbnb aspect, because this is, as Debbie pointed out, this is 100% commercial property on Armour Drive. There are no residences within that area that would be eligible for Airbnb.
So I don't know if it'd be wise for us to discuss the merits of the thing when
Right.
we really have no jurisdiction here that I can see.
We don't have a dog in the fight once this is corrected. You're right. So appreciate that, Ben. Let's go to Kay Stevenson.
Yeah, my recommendation would be to handle this the same way that we handle, for example, alcohol licenses that are in adjacent NPUs. Typically, unless we really think it's going to have some impact on us, we simply have a motion to defer to the decision of the affected NPU. And that would be my recommendation, that we basically do not take an action on our own, but that we say we will support whatever decision NPUB makes.
Okay, and with that, I would add the condition that the map be redrawn to correct it.
Yep.
Well, I will add that NPU-B has already acted on this and voted against it.
Then there's even less reason for us to take
Right.
action on it.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's moot. I mean, the planning department needs to correct the map problem. This has nothing to do with NPUE. And I don't think there should be any substantive
F, yeah.
response to the.
All right. Appreciate that. I see our friendly neighborhood planner, Doug.
Hey there. Good evening, everybody. Doug Young, Director of the City Planners Office of Design. I'm your friendly neighborhood F planner tonight as my role. Just wanted to note, for folks who are not familiar, the reason why this legislation went to all of the NPUs is because it's an amendment to the zoning ordinance, creating a new chapter. And so that's considered a citywide change because it affects the entire zoning code text. So it's not like an application for rezoning or variance, which is a property specific request to do something different than the code provides. So regardless of what the map had said, it would have come to NPU-F along with all the other NPUs.
Okay.
Thank you for that clarification.
That's not my understanding, but you know more about this, Mr. Young, than I do. But my understanding was it only was going to two NPUs, E and B.
Well, we're not either of those. We're F.
Excuse me, F. I'm sorry. I can't get I failed the alphabet in third grade. But anyway, thank you for letting us know that this is going to the other NPUs because. So are you suggesting that this should be considered by this NPU even though they're not affected by it?
That's my understanding. What I would suggest is follow Ms. Stevenson's recommendation is to obviously the NPU-F can do whatever it would like. I will send an email tonight to the director of the zoning office to confirm the procedure that was followed here. But regardless, the NPU can take whatever position it wants to take, knowing that it is affecting geography outside of its boundaries, or that's the intent of the ordinance.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Doug. I appreciate that. Kay, you proposed this. Would you like to make it the motion?
I move that we support the decision of NPUB on this legislation or text amendment, sorry.
Which technically is considered a deferral to the recommendation of NPUB?
I wouldn't call it a deferral.
We support.
We support their recommendation.
Doug, am I gonna have a checkbox on my planner report to fit that into?
What I would do is, so let me put on my video again. I always recommend that you take a motion and the planner's notes will reflect that you're essentially want to have your action concur with the home NPU's recommendation, but it does need to be assertively confirmed motion.
Right.
So it would be an approval, I would suspect, and then the notes would reflect that it is approval of concurring with the home NPU.
Okay, yeah. I guess that was really in the essence of my question. Is there a fourth category we can use, which is recommendation to follow another NPU's decision?
No, we only have room for 4 boxes on the form, Tom. So we're out there.
I got some white out, Doug. I'm going to add one. Okay.
So I second Kay's motion.
Thank you. And Kay, I assume your motion included the map being redrawn?
And correction of the map, yes.
The correction of the map. Okay. And let me just keep this straight. So that was Kay, and I heard a second. Was that Kevin?
Kevin.
Okay. I saw your hand, Rich, but I heard Kevin, so we're going to give it to him. Okay, folks. So we have a motion that's been made and seconded. The discussion of the motion was very much appreciated. It is to NPU-F will recommend we follow the decision of NPU-B with a condition that we will redraw that the map be redrawn to correct the Armor Drive Otley region. Is that a fair synopsis, Kay?
Yes,
Okay. Is there
yes.
additional discussion on this motion?
Sorry,
Doug,
I do have additional discussion on the motion. I mean, if indeed what Doug is saying is accurate, that it is an amendment to the code, I think it's bigger than just, voting on whether it's the overlay or not, right? I prefer, and I had raised my hand right as the motions were being made, but I prefer that we make a motion to deny, similar to what NPU-B did, because by approving it, we are insinuating that we're okay, while we're agreeing with B, that we're okay with the overlay district
yeah,
and
but
the
B,
amendment to the code.
Todd, B has already voted to deny.
Got it. Okay.
So
As long as
by agreeing with the recommendation of B, we're essentially denying it as well.
Perfect.
Okay. Is it Marty Breen? Do you have a question or a comment?
Voting.
Or are you voting already? All right. Rich, do you have a
voting?
You're okay. I'm with you. I'm just trying to close out discussion on the motion. Doug, I see your hand is still raised. Do you have a additional discussion point on the motion?
I'm good, thank you. Sorry about that.
All right, no problem, no problem. I just don't want to stuff it. Okay, the motion has been made. It's been properly seconded. Again, that discussion and the motion is we are deferring to the recommendation of NPU-B, which is also for denial, and we're putting a condition that the map be redrawn. All those in favor of that motion, please raise your hand. Okay. Looks like we're leveling off at 23 with two folks. Counting, 24 with two folks. So I'm counting 26 in favor. I am clearing that feedback. All those opposed to the motion as described, please raise your hand. Okay, by a vote of 26-0, the motion carries. Thank you for your support, everybody. That one I thought was going to be an easy one. All righty, but we got through it. Thank you for everybody's patience on that. Okay, real quickly, we have one more.
Tom, if I may.
I'm sorry, Doug.
Tom, if I may, I just want to reiterate, I'll follow up with the Director of Zoning for the City of Atlanta and pass that information along to you and Ms. Stevenson. You can distribute that to the relevant folks and maybe put it on the minutes or as a follow-up note or something to that effect.
Oh, that'd be great. And Doug, maybe if you could include Catherine King on that as well, so we can get that in the minutes, if that's appropriate.
Okay.
Appreciate
Okay.
it. All right, thank you. Okay, folks, we have one more item before we get to our presentations. This is an alcohol license. It's for La Cuava, I think it's pronounced. It's an open air cafe. This one's going in at 765 Ponce. It's a new business, and of course, that location is in Ponce City Market. We are not voting on this, though. This is only for review and comment. Ponce City Market, of course, is in NPU-M, but it's within 300 feet of our border, so we're just simply commenting on this. Is Mr. Robert Hopper with us? I don't think it's required because, again, we're only reviewing, commenting, but I just wanted to give him the opportunity to introduce himself. So as I said, this is an M. Our standard practice here is to, again, defer to the governing NPU in this case. It's located within Ponce City Market, which is already zoned as a shopping and retail entertainment center. So I think it's zoned appropriately. There's no issues with close neighbors. The only concern for NPU-F that I would note is the traffic, of course, tends to back up on Ponce near the Ponce City Market, and that can congest up into NPU-F territories. But I don't know necessarily that the changing of this particular establishment is going to fundamentally affect the traffic. So what I suggest is I will make the comment that NPU-F defers to NPU-M's decision with a note about traffic being a concern. Is there any other discussion, questions, comments on this application? Okay. Well, I appreciate everybody's patience. And again, we do not need to vote on this. We are simply going to defer to NPU-M, but I will pass that along with those comments. Okay, that concludes our matters for voting. We are up to agenda item number 8, which is our presentations. Thank you for everybody who's patiently waited till we get to this point. First up is the Department of Parks and Rec, Piedmont Park Conservancy Plan. We are going to be voting on this next month in October, but we want to hear the presentation this month. Mr. Nate, is it Holzel or Rachel Mayer?
It would be Tara Buckner from Parks and Recreation.
Oh, hello, Tara.
Yes.
Welcome.
Hi. So I was going to kind of give you a brief update of what's going on with Parks and Rec, but I don't want to belabor a meeting that is already almost close to 10. And the most important thing on our agenda is seeing you all have a review of the Piedmont comprehensive plan. So please, I will put my information in the chat. I will also put the information from the highlights from our department, and hope you get a chance to partake in some of the things that are going on in your community. I just would like to introduce the Piedmont Park Conservancy comprehensive plan. We've been working on this since I believe July of last year, and this is the Conservancy's plan that we are attempting to have adopted. We are coming before you today. And then we will be back hopefully in the next month for a vote so that we can complete the whole process and get it before the council and approved before the end of this year. With that, Doug Widener, would you like to give a little presentation here?
Sure. Thanks, Tara, and thanks everyone for making time. Doug Widener, I know many of you, CEO of the Piedmont Park Conservancy. Thanks for all you do to show that local representative government works, and it works very well in our city. So thanks for all your efforts. This plan is probably, hopefully not new or surprising to many of you. Our own Debbie was on our steering committee for this process. But this is the first comprehensive plan for Piedmont Park in 25 years. Piedmont Park turned 120 last year, and the Conservancy turned 35, and it was the right time to think big and bold about the future of Atlanta's most visited park. As we all know, the Atlanta Beltline recently made its way through the park last summer, and with the growth of our city and this being our really gem, crown jewel of our great park system, it was time to think differently about the park. I'm going to make the presentation brief in the interest of time. I will say, though, that the entire plan is available at plan.piedmontpark.org. I will give you a little brief synopsis here. You can read about the plan, and then you can download the executive summary, the entire 200-page plan, and then there are cut sheets for each of the specific portions of the plan. So just want you all to know that there's plenty of information here available online as well as what I'm going to share tonight. So I guess the first thing, Tara is right. We started this planning process last July. And when I say comprehensive, we mean comprehensive. We looked at all aspects of the park. We looked at, yes, what new things would we like to see, but existing care and maintenance, access, safety, accessibility, programming, events, you name it, circulation in the park, you name it, we looked at it. And I also mean comprehensive by the amount of input we got. So we really wanted this to be a plan for all Atlantans. This is, I live in Midtown. This is our neighborhood park, but it is also our city's park as well. And we want it to be represent all of Atlantans. And so you can see by these numbers here, we had 25 plus thousand total impressions, 8,000 direct interactions, 2,100 pieces of feedback. That was through a mixture of public meetings, focus groups, one stakeholder meetings. We had a steering committee that Debbie was on that had representatives of various community and civic perspectives, and a variety of online sessions as well. So we heard a lot, and it shaped centrally this plan. So out of all that feedback, there were 4 main guiding principles that came out of this. The first was expanding access to free open space for all. We really want to lean into the fact that this is a free park for all Atlantans. Parks are great equalizers because we all have equal access, and we really wanted to really lean into that as a part of this plan. Create a more people-friendly park. This does not mean that we want it to be not nature-friendly as well, but as you know, Piedmont Park has wide roads, and we really want the park to prioritize people, walkers, rollers, joggers, not cars. And so there's plans for how we change the circulation in the park and prioritize people over like vehicles, unless the vehicles are needed for mobility. Steward a healthy and resilient natural systems in the park. So taking care of both the manicured pieces of the park, but also the natural gems that we have, including Lake Claramere and the Clear Creek corridor, Six Springs wetlands, among others. And then finally, plan for a fiscally sustainable and physically maintainable future. So that all led to some big ahas. And one of the ahas isn't really an aha. We know we want to do a lot to make the park better with new things, but what we heard loud and clear is this is our crown jewel of the park, and we have a lot of great parks. So we are lucky to have many jewels in our crown of parks. But but we want to say that, and it looks good, but it needs to look great to represent that this is one of our, signature parks. And so the recommendation was taking better care of all the basics that are important: pathways, drainage, drinking fountains, restrooms, ongoing maintenance and care. And so I will say that this is the underpinning piece of the whole plan, is better maintenance, better care. And while this plan is envisioned to take 15 to 20 years to implement holistically, the Conservancy and the city is already working on this goal here. We're hiring more staff. We're looking at more 7-day operations and maintenance teams in the park, deepening and broadening our bench depth and our equipment, all in even better service and more world-class service to our world-class park. But then we also looked at all parts of the park with fresh eyes. So there was no inch of the park that wasn't looked at with a new perspective of what should this park be to be world-class as our city is growing, and the need for comprehensive open space would become even more prevalent, especially in neighborhoods that we all live in that are dense and densifying even more. So I'm going to call out a couple highlights here. This by no means is covering the whole piece, but I will say that while we looked at every inch of the park with fresh eyes, we know that this is going to take time. And so we are looking at phasing this comprehensive plan in over at least 3 phases. One that would start next year and run through 2030, and then 2 other phases that would be accomplished sometime in the later 2030s. But the first phase focuses on one that affects this NPU because it's on the eastern edge of the park, and it's focusing on expanding the park to the corner of Monroe and Piedmont, and then also focusing on providing more connective tissue and more connectivity and throughput through a very narrow part of the park where the Beltline now took over the carriage trail. So I'm going to spend just one more minute on those. I had a couple areas and direct you back to plan.piedmontpark.org.
So real quick, Doug, we're trying to limit the presentation to about 10 minutes. So
you got it. If I'm there, you got it. I will do it.
Perfect. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Tom. So the expansion, some highlights here. Here's Piedmont. Here's Monroe. This is the big vision. The big idea is completing the vision. We've got the Atlanta Botanical Garden that will be opening its new entrance off the Beltline in 2028. We have the Beltline that just made its completion through the park. So the goal is to finish the vision and have green space all along this part of Piedmont and Monroe. So we're calling for 2 more playgrounds in this area, a natural lawn amphitheater, not for more concerts, but the idea is this is more performing arts, music, theater, dance. And then a lot of passive open space. What we heard from the public is don't over-program this part of the park because we like passive open space. If you're going to program areas, program elsewhere and keep this open. So we're excited about this vision. This is the Beltline here. And another piece of this first phase will be moving our maintenance shops from this area to the Department of Watershed site that's just south of here. And we got approval from the city to do that earlier this year. The other piece I'm going to highlight before I follow Tom's directions and direct you to the website for more is that one of the pieces that is related to the expansion is that we love the fact that the Beltline is coming through the park, but it did create a pinch point here with the Beltline now using the same path that was the carriage trail. We're proposing something that we're calling Clear Creek Walks, which is going to be a series of canopy walks and creekside trails to open up Clear Creek. It will also involve restoring Clear Creek, but really providing this great opportunity to explore a really beautiful part of the park once you get past the smells of the CSO facility, but really providing needed connective tissue so that folks that are accessing the expansion can really utilize it. Other highlights of the plan also include more things on the active oval, pickleball, basketball, more sand volleyball, accessible field for baseball called Challenger League, and then a comprehensive dredging and restoration of Lake Claramere, which will also include a boardwalk all the way around Lake Claramere as well. This was the #1 vote getter that people wanted to see Lake Claramere better taken care of and provided more access. There's a lot more in the plan, but in the interest of time and following the rules, I'm going to direct you to plan.piedmontpark.org. I want to thank all of you because I know many of you contributed to this. I want to thank Debbie for representing NPU-F so well. And I want to thank Tara and her team at the Department of Parks and Rec because this truly was a partnership between the Conservancy and our great Parks and Rec team. So thank you all. I appreciate your time.
Excellent. Thank you, Doug, and thank you, Tara. I know everybody here is a big fan of Piedmont Park, so we love everything you guys are doing to improve it. And thank you. I didn't mean to cut you short, but I appreciate you being brief.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you all.
Okay.
Have a great night.
Thank you. Okay, so next up, Center for Civic Innovation, the Survey and NPU Initiative report updates. Is Ann Hill Bond with us?
So Ann is not on the call. This is Kyle Kessler with the Center for Civic Innovation. There are multiple NPU meetings tonight. Ann might have drawn a luckier straw with one that got done earlier. Felix and I from CCI are here. Thank you for having us this evening, and it's been good to hear what's going on in NPU-F. So the Center for Civic Innovation, if you're not familiar with it, we are a now 11-year-old organization based here in the city of Atlanta, focused on bringing information and helping the community understand local government processes and policy with the ability to make changes to that. And how that really sort of fits in with this meeting tonight, as Doug was sort of mentioning. We have democracy here in Atlanta in neighborhoods. Sometimes it takes a bit of time. Sometimes there's a little bit of disagreement on it, but folks are having conversations about what they want the future of their neighborhood to be. Back in 2018, we launched a neighborhood planning unit initiative, NPU initiative, the most creative name on the face of the earth. One of our advisors was Debbie Skopczynski. Good to see her on the call this evening, and relinquishing the reins to Tom and crew. But through that work, we looked at the NPU system also, hopefully fairly comprehensively, for the first time since the 1970s, to take a look at how it's functioning, what it's doing, what people's thoughts are on it. Do people even know that it exists? Are recommendations being heard? Is there feedback mechanisms and such? So we were focused on equity, effectiveness, and accountability. We came up through a whole series of engagement efforts with a set of 10 recommendations. I will not bore you with reading them off, but you can go to our website and see all 10 recommendations. But they were focused on strengthening the purpose of the NPUs, its leadership and capacity, and transparency and accountability. Why I'm here this evening is that our first recommendation was we need to strengthen the purpose of the NPUs. Why do we do this? Are we doing the right stuff? Are we spending the time on things we should be spending time on? Are we not spending times on things that maybe aren't best suited for the NPU? You can see here on this series of charts that a variety of different stakeholders, NPU residents, applicants, city council members, all had different thoughts about why neighbors gather once a month to talk about the future of their neighborhood. So what we like to do here in 2025, because that survey result is a little bit old, we weren't able to engage with everybody. We're a little bit further away from the pandemic and things maybe have a new normal, but would love to have that conversation again about the purpose of the NPU system. So if you're game, we'd love for you to take a quick survey. You can pull out your phone and scan the QR code on your screen or type in the address, or hopefully it's dropped in the chat, which I can't see right now since I'm sharing my screen. But we'd love for you to take the survey and let us know what you believe the purpose of the NPU system to be, how it's doing on that purpose. There's also a series of sort of open-ended questions or one you can choose other. Let us know what you like, what you don't like, and how the system can be better improved. For you, your neighborhood association, your neck of the woods, its parks, its schools, all the things that we have in our communities across the city. So I'll leave it at that, but if there's any questions, would be happy to answer, but I'm also happy to let y'all get off this call and get some sleep.
I appreciate that. Appreciate that, Kyle. Debbie, do you have a question? Debbie, you're on mute.
Sorry.
No problem.
Kyle, it's good to see and hear from you. I have a question. Is this survey different than the survey that the NPU support office just completed last year?
The NPU health survey?
Yeah, I think that's what they called it.
Yes, yeah, this is different. This one's hopefully a little bit shorter. Some of it's building upon the survey that we did back in 2020, 2021, but with a little bit of refinement and sort of trying to confirm whether or not some of those answers are still valid or if folks have sort of moved on, have sort of different thoughts on that. But this is fairly quick, but we just want to be able to say, not based upon what folks said back in 2021, this is what the purpose of the NPU system is, or people believe it to be, but this is what folks are saying about it now. So yeah, it should be different. And Leah and I did coordinate a little bit to try to make sure we weren't duplicating questions. Like if they have answers from last year, we don't need to quiz people on the same thing. But yeah, there has been communication, as has always been the case with the planning team at the city, so that we're being collaborative on this work.
And do you know when Leah's going to release her results?
I don't know. I know that she had some challenges with overall participation on it and not necessarily getting all quadrants or areas of the city that she wanted to. So I think last time I had a conversation with her about it, she's interested in at least a portion of that survey being repeated to try to get a bit more representation. We also would love to get a lot more representation on ours right now. I think we have close to 150 responses, but we'd love to get a whole lot more. But we also have data from before, and this is just sort of a pulse check to see, are we close to it and folks still have the same sort of thoughts, or are we completely sort of different? But yeah, I don't know exactly when Leah's planning on getting that information out.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Yep, thank you.
Hey, Kyle, real quick one. Does the survey also get at the impact of the NPU? Not only why does the NPU exist, but how much impact that has on the city government? Does it address those issues?
So you can definitely answer the survey that way with some of the sort of open-ended questions. There's one question in the end, like, tell us whatever the hell you want to tell us. Some of our data collected back in 2020 or through 2021, and then we've refreshed some of it since then, does show how often when an NPU votes in a certain manner, what happens with the zoning review board, the board of zoning adjustment, the license review board reviews it, what's the final city council decision. We weren't able to track everything through the Superior Court, the Court of Appeals, and whatever else sort of might get to. But we do have some of that data, happy to share it with you. But also just from what we were able to do with the capacity we had, can't get on to the nuance of, yes, the application came in, but there was an amendment to it, or there was an agreement with the neighborhood association. So oftentimes the raw data doesn't tell you all of the story. But I will say, not to our credit, but to the credit of everybody who was involved in it, in making the recommendations, many of those 10 recommendations, the city has made a lot of progress on, such as when your planner gives his planner's report, they will tell you, that since y'all voted on something, here's what the final vote decision was from the city, for better or worse. Prior to 2021, that information wasn't flowing, and it was up to residents in NPU-F and elsewhere needing to click refresh and check emails and try to find that information. I remember early conversation with license review board applications that they weren't even emailing you to say, "Hey, it's finally on the agenda." But, whereas zoning applications, they at least give you a tentative date, the date that's going to first appear. License review board wasn't that way. Not to say that's perfect now, but at least there's some acknowledgement that NPUs deserve to get some response back on how these things carry the rest of the way through the process.
If you wouldn't mind sending me that data, I'd find it very interesting. I'd love to look at that. Thank you. Kay, do you have a question?
No, just a comment for everybody. From the time that Kyle said, I think it's in the chat. It took me less than 3 minutes to do the survey. So please, everybody participate.
Yep, I grabbed the link, so I'll do it offline. All right, any other questions? Well, thank you, Kyle. I really appreciate it. And as somebody involved with the NPU, really appreciate all your efforts to make it even more effective.
Yeah, I'm an active participant in my NPU, just down from NPU-F, coming to you live from NPU-M, where we will review the Ponce City Market La Cueva application later this month. I'm currently the vice chair and then designate to the Atlanta Planning Advisory Board, where I've gotten to know Debbie when she was president, but also Katie, your current representative as well. So
vice chair is a lonely role. I feel your pain. All right. Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Okay, up next, we have one more presentation. This one is Mercy Housing, talking about Amsterdam Walk, Phase 1. Let's see, do we have either James Talley or Billy Lummis with us?
We have both with
excellent. Well, welcome.
Yeah,
Again, we're trying
appreciate
to kind of limit this to 10 minutes a pop if we can, with some Q&A afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. And frankly, in the interest of time, I'm just going to keep my remarks pretty brief. I'm just going to introduce myself real quick. James Talley, Regional Vice President for Real Estate Development for Mercy Housing Southeast. And just a little bit about Mercy Housing real quick before Billy gets into the formal presentation. Mercy Housing, we are headquartered in Denver, Colorado. We do operate in 5 different geographic business centers as affiliates to Mercy Housing, Inc. We are Mercy Housing Southeast. And while we do operate in 5 different geographic areas, we have one mission, and that mission is simple. It's to create stable, vibrant, and healthy communities by developing, financing, and operating affordable program-enriched housing for families, seniors, and people with special needs. And what's key to this is that while we do the built environment, that is simply a start for us. Program enrichment through our resident services program is something that we take pride in, and it's something that we look to implement at each of the developments in which we build. And more than that, Tom and NPU, we certainly look to be anchoring and sustaining elements in whatever community we build in. And so with that in mind, I just want to make sure that folks know a little bit about Mercy Housing Southeast, and that we're not a fly-by-night organization. We've been around for a little over 40 years. Mercy Housing Southeast specifically, we operate in just about every southeastern state except Florida. It's just too expensive for us. So we've kept our focus in Georgia, South Carolina primarily, though we do have communities in Mississippi, Alabama, obviously Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, and somebody had the brilliant idea of putting Ohio in our portfolio. I guess Ohio wanted to be in the Southeast, so we'll take them, I guess. But beyond that, we have a little over 3,000 apartment homes that we own and operate. And, we're very proud of the work that we do. And so with that, Billy, if you would go ahead and get into the presentation again, we really greatly appreciate the NPU and your consideration of this.
Yeah, thanks, James. Hopefully everyone can hear me and see the slideshow up on your screen now.
Yep.
I've only got like 3 or 4 slides to go through. Thank you everyone at the NPU for being here tonight. We're a little bit past my bedtime, so I may be a little bit tired and sleepy here. But yeah, we're excited to share our vision here with Amsterdam Walk, and I know there's a lot of background that you guys may be already somewhat familiar with. Just going through, I'll kind of skip the table of contents there. James already talked a little bit about the background of us at Mercy Housing. As some of you may be aware, this is in a collaboration with Portman Holdings. They do have the site, but they do not have the affordable housing experience, and that's where Mercy Housing is coming in here. We're bringing in our deep portfolio experience, both with affordable housing and securing financing, as well as, like James mentioned, the property management and resident services component, because we'll be involved in this project from this stage going forward beyond construction into operations. So we'll be along that project the whole way through. Just goals and outcomes with this Amsterdam Walk project. We're hoping to deliver 135 new affordable apartments. They'll be locked in as affordable homes or affordable units for 99 years. More than half of the development is going to be 2-bedroom units or larger. So we're targeting families there. We find that to be a deep need in the area. This also will advance Atlanta's goal of creating 20,000 affordable homes by 2030. So we think this is a key component within that. We also envision this aligning with the Beltline Sub-Area 6 master plan, both the unit mix and that walkability with that access to the Beltline and Piedmont Park and that East Side Trail. We think it's a very good vision there and aligns with that Beltline master plan. We do also, this will commit to deeper affordability beyond the 80% requirement. We're going to be down to 60% of area median income across the aggregate of units. And as I mentioned before, of course, Mercy Housing will be involved throughout the operations of the project, providing our services on the property management and assisting with resident services to the tenants. So a quick outline I mentioned before as well. This is a collaboration with Portman and us at Mercy Housing Southeast. Portman brings some deep architectural and development experience more in mixed income housing. And we're bringing our expertise on the affordable part. The 135 units I mentioned before, these are all going to be income restricted for 99 years and targeting families. The unit mix is listed there with 22 efficiency units, 40 1-bedroom units, 59 2-bedroom units, and 14 3-bedroom units. All of these units will be income restricted to low-income households. The design, we feel, emphasizes walkability with that access to the East Side Beltline and Piedmont Park, and we'll have ample connectivity to nearby amenities in the area. And we're pursuing multiple funding sources, primarily through Invest Atlanta and the Georgia Department of Community Affairs, through tax-exempt bonds and low-income housing tax credits, which I will outline on the slide after this one. Actually, this is just, we're still in the very early stages, but this is just a general conceptual plan here. We envision it being a 7-story building on the southeastern corner near the Piedmont Park there off of Amsterdam Walk or off of Amsterdam Ave. We think that the design will integrate really well with the Beltline and immediate amenities. We also envision it will include landscape courtyards, open space. We also have community gardens and activity centers, computer center, and a fitness center as well, envisioned to be included with the development. So our financial outline, we envision this is going to cost $53 million give or take total. We're still working through the budget here as we are trying to secure these anticipated sources. I did mention we're going after tax exempt bonds through Invest Atlanta. We are also going through Invest Atlanta for Beltline Affordable Housing Trust Funds. Through the Department of Community Affairs, we are seeking federal and state low-income housing tax credits. And as we move forward, we will seek some additional gap sources to fill what remains. We feel the site is going to be able to proceed pretty quickly. The land is already controlled, and as you all may well be aware, the site has been rezoned to PDMU, allowing for this residential mix to be developed. So I think I went through that pretty quickly. I'll just leave my contact info up there. I can also throw that in the chat. And then I'll just turn it back to James for anything he also wants to touch on.
No, I think that's pretty much it, Billy. I appreciate it. And I'll just to put a pin in this, just to advise and make sure that everyone understands that Mercy Housing Southeast is specifically focused and responsible for just this one phase of affordable housing development. And so, I just want to make sure, with the understanding of the history here, that this is our focus.
All right. I appreciate that, Billy and James, for being here. Let me open it up for any questions or comments from the audience. Yeah, Rich?
Excuse me, when you say resident services,
Yes.
what's your scope with resident services?
And Richard, I appreciate that question. And when it comes to our resident services programming, it is not a one size fits all. We try to meet our residents where they are. And so, Richard, it could be a focus on financial sustainability. It could be a focus on good housekeeping. It could be a focus on tutoring and after school programming, summer camps. It, Food security is also something that we put heavy focus on, and making sure that our residents are secure with nutritious foods. So it's again, we try to tailor it to fit the needs of each individual community. So again, it's not specific to this is the only thing that we do. If it's a senior population, obviously it's something very different.
Thank you.
No, thank you for the question.
Wiley, do you have a question or comment?
Yeah, and I suppose that others that have more history in dealing with the Amsterdam Walk project, I guess my question is, and maybe it's out of ignorance of what all the plans were that went back and forth with Portman, but do I understand that you're going to have a segregated low-income wing of the project that will stand alone, separate from the rest of the project?
No, it's not going to be completely separate and segregated from the project. It'll be a part and parcel to the overall master plan development. It will simply be its own standalone development that we're taking part in. But
so it will in fact be
part,
segregated from the.
but it will be a part of the overall community.
So as opposed to sprinkling in the low income apartments with all the rest of the folks. Is that what you're saying?
With all the rest of the phases, yes, you're correct. And again, Wiley, I'm not sure what Portman's plans are moving forward for any additional affordability integrated into any of the other phases. But, again, this is, what we've been tasked to focus on. And so it's kind of where we are.
Okay. Kevin, do you have a comment, question? Kevin Cronin. Kevin, are you muted?
Okay, sorry. So my question is, would you be developing the same time as Portman develops, or will you be in a different schedule?
As it stands right now, the schedule for the entire development has not been laid out, Kevin, but there again, as Billy stated earlier, we are certainly looking to move forward with this as quickly as possible, with the first step being having a bond resolution inducement through IRFA, and then applying for 4% low-income housing tax credits. And certainly, if awarded, Kevin, our goal is to close on this construction and move it forward toward the end of next year.
Okay. And second question.
Sure.
How do y'all feel? I'm not how familiar you are with Beltline, but how do you feel about supporting transportation mode that would enhance the Beltline's ability to help support your residents?
Frankly speaking, Kevin, that's not something that, we spent very much time focused on or even engaged in any kind of conversation in. So that is something that I would certainly have to, be educated on. I'll just simply say that, we seek to work with the neighborhood, and we simply seek to provide the best affordable housing, high quality affordable housing product that we can. And frankly, we have a reputation for doing so. And our reputation is everything to us because it goes directly to the housing of our residents. And obviously our residents deserve the very best that we can provide.
Thank you.
Okay, Marla, do you have a question or comment?
Yes, one of each, I guess. I just have to say it's kind of shocking to hear that that they're going to be separated or segregated from the rest of the development. Um, on that note, I guess, will they have access to all the amenities of the rest of the development, the gym, the pools, if there's a club room, anything like that?
Yeah, at this particular for DCA purposes, and that's Department of Community Affairs, this specific phase has to have its own amenities, but as it relates to access and equity to other amenities that the other phases will have, uh, Portman has intimated to us that it is extremely important that this looks seamless and that you cannot be able to tell the affordable phase from a market rate phase. And so, Marla, to speak specifically to the availability and whether or not there be any shared amenities on the properties, we have not gotten that far yet, but we certainly have engaged in those conversations.
Okay, thank you.
No, absolutely.
Okay,
Other questions?
is it Lois Meyer? Lois Meyer?
Yeah, thank you. Couple of quick things. Mr. Talley, you had said that you had not delved much into the transportation issues, but the transportation issue is one of the serious constraints for the development of this parcel.
Mm-hmm.
I would suggest that you get intimately familiar with how to get the residents in and out, because from a Habitat for Humanity standpoint,
Mm-hmm.
workforce housing is desperately needed, but you can't have workforce housing if you can't get the workforce to the work.
Yes, sir.
Um, uh, the other question I had is, do you have an idea of what 60% of AMI currently stands at?
60% of AMI is probably a little bit more than $50,000. And I don't have, unfortunately, and uh, Mr. Meyer, I do apologize for not having the exact number. Billy, would you happen to have that available?
Yeah, I'll see if I could pull it up pretty quickly.
So it would be 60% of the $50,000 for
It would be
income?
50% of whatever the area median income is for this Atlanta Metro, Sandy Springs, Fulton County, DeKalb area.
50K still seems, so it would be 50% of 50K, or is that is 50K the 50%?
Yes, that would be the estimated AMI number.
I could share this screen here real quick, and I could probably share this document as well with anyone who'd like to see it. But these are the 2025 HUD income and rent limits.
Yeah, Billy, if you wouldn't mind sending a copy of that to me, I'd appreciate it.
Sure thing, Tom.
Appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Does that conclude your question, Mr. Meyer?
Yes, thank you.
All right, no problem. How about, is it pronounced oh, my screen changed. Caspel?
Yes, Caspal Tomo.
Welcome. What's your question or comment?
My question is, can you explain how this development will have access to the Monroe Drive?
How this development would have access to Monroe Drive is the question.
Yeah, right now it is only Amsterdam Avenue, which is just a two-lane, one lane, one-way road. And with this development, with so many extra cars and traffic, only this is available, or there are any other plans to have access to Monroe Drive?
Yeah, Mr. Thum, I appreciate the question. That is something that we'll be working with the Portman Group on, again, as they are the master developer for the overall development. And ours is, but one. And so with that in mind, and I hate to sound like a broken record, and I really don't want to sound like, and it's probably a dirty word, a politician, but I just have to say that, we are simply, focused on the development of this parcel or this phase and how it connects with the rest of the neighborhood and the rest of this developed community. But Portman is responsible for, the development of the infrastructure and the design of the infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
And it's our job to connect to it.
Okay.
But no, thank you for the question. It's a really thoughtful question. Appreciate it.
Okay, Kay, do you have a question?
Yeah, I want to make sure, and I apologize if you said this and I just didn't hear it. I want to make sure I understand what you're saying about AMI. Are you saying that some of the units might have a family that's at 80% and some of them might be at 60%?
Yes.
Or when you say you get down to 60%, are you saying some will be at 80 and some will be at 40 and the average is at 60?
That's a great question. That's pretty astute. We are looking at income averaging. And so while there will be some 80% AMI apartment homes, there will also be some at 60%, and there could be some as low as, a little bit lower than that.
Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay. And I'm looking at some of the comments in the chat. It looks like city code requires the affordable units to be interspersed along the Beltline district with the market rate units. I haven't read that section of the code, but I'm not sure if that's a question or if you want to comment on that.
Yeah. That's again something I can't comment on other than, again, we're focused on building this one.
Yeah.
And as it relates to how Portman handles any additional affordability, again, intermersed in the other phases, we're not aware of what that looks like right now.
Okay. I did have a question myself. When I looked at the financial slide, it looked like you were trying to raise 53 million through the various sources, Beltline and government sources. How much of that 53 million is Portman contributing?
We are still engaged in that conversation, Tom, and it's something that we made them well aware of, that these deals are very complicated, and especially when you're talking 100% affordable. And we have been advised that Portman is committed to this deal, and to what level financial commitment we're talking about, we're not sure just yet.
Yeah. Okay. We've heard, yeah, a lot of commitments out of Portman along the way. Wiley, do you have a question or comment?
Yeah, I guess, and again, I defer to somebody that paid more attention to than I did with the Amsterdam Walk project. Portman made some promises along the way about how much affordable housing would be a part of the project
Mhm.
when they were seeking the change in the zoning. Are they going to take credit for your project as a part of their commitment?
Uh, yes, it is a part and parcel to the overall master development.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions or comments related to this presentation?
And I do appreciate all the questions. Again, these have been very thoughtful questions, and again, I totally understand.
All right. Okay. If there's no other questions, I guess we can wrap it up. Unless there's anything else that you need from us, Mr. Talley or Mr. Lummis.
Yeah,
I
Billy.
don't know if we touched on it. I did mean to include when I went through the presentation that along with that presentation, we are requesting, a letter of recommendation on behalf of just this affordable housing piece, not the whole,
Yeah.
that whole master site, but just this one affordable housing component.
Yeah, that's so. Mr. Loomis, I'm struggling a little bit here because was one, I can't speak for the entire NPU. We would have to take a motion and a vote and all
Mhm.
that. But I'm hesitant to try to speak for anybody else in the NPU. But I will try to summarize, I think, some of the overall prevailing themes that I've felt throughout this
Mhm.
process. One is I've heard good things about Mercy Housing, so that's great. I don't think there's any animosity directed towards Mercy at all. I think that most of the members of the NPU want to develop Amsterdam Walk. They want a development in
Mhm.
there, and I think that most of the members are for affordable housing. And your 60% AMI is a very a noble cause, and we're on board with that. But it would be a mistake for anyone to underestimate the level of frustration that many members of this community have felt with this project.
Mhm.
And again, I think we're for development, but the size of this development, the cramming of the units down in this, rezoning it, um, is viewed as a money grab by Portland and quite frankly by the city for tax revenue. And there was zero consideration for the infrastructure needed to support this. And it's unfortunate that you guys haven't been engaged. I realize you're not the overall developer, but you haven't even been engaged in the issues of transit or the traffic flow, which were paramount to this community and were expressed through multiple mechanisms. So, including hundreds, if not thousands, of letters to the city, and those were falling on deaf ears. So now, in addition to the merits of the overall project, we're looking at just how this was handled by the city and how it's been communicated with us. And the
Mhm.
city, including Invest Atlanta, receives very poor grades in that regard. Um, I understand that the Committee of Invest Atlanta has already met and made a recommendation last week. So I question what value a letter of recommendation from this body would do, given that that decision's already been made in committee. And the board is taking a vote tomorrow morning, as I mentioned, at 9 a.m. that we were just notified of last night. So I don't think I possess the right linguistic skills to express the level of frustration that I'll speak for myself that I felt in this process. So I would be highly doubtful if again I can't speak for the community, but I don't even know if there's a majority that would be willing to sign such a letter.
Okay.
Wiley, I saw your hand raised. Did you have something to add?
Button. Yeah, I guess it goes back to what my understanding of the promises Portman made, and I don't believe that Portman made those promises based on having us pay for it, which is essentially what happens when you get Invest Atlanta. There's taxpayer money in there. And so when they say we're going to build affordable housing, but you're going to pay for it, doesn't seem like quite the deal that we thought we were getting.
Yeah. So, I think, yeah, Marla, did you have something to add?
Yeah, I just I my main I'm super concerned now because I thank you to Kyle who put the code, the city code in the chat. It reads, affordable housing units shall not be in isolated areas in the development, but shall be interspersed among market rate units. This is the city of Atlanta's code.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know where you go from
I
there.
understand. I agree with what you're saying, Marla. And again, I'm not going to interpret the code. This isn't my area of
Right.
expertise, but um, I think what I'm hearing from all the comments, all the concerns, that this NPU is not interested in issuing a letter of recommendation because I think it would be pointless given that the decision apparently has already been made through Invest Atlanta. And if we did issue a letter, it wouldn't hit before 9 a.m. tomorrow morning when the formal board votes. Rich, did you have something to add to that?
I think Mercy Housing has very good plans, but
Mhm.
according to the code, this looks like it's one part. I think it would be if we're 2, 3 years down the road and Portman says, we're going to put more affordable housing a little bit further along, a little bit further along, then I think it's something that would satisfy the concerns of or at least some of the concerns of the NPU. But right now, it's one piece of it, and I don't think we can really take positive action on it. It's great, but let's see what's going to happen in the future.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess what I'm summarizing here, because I know the hour is quite late, I'm not feeling a groundswell of people that wish to support, issue a letter of support. If I'm wrong, someone's welcome to make a motion. So I'll open the floor to that. But I'm not hearing any. So respectfully, Mr. Taylor, Mr. Lemus, we appreciate you coming here. And like I said, I'm sincere when I say I've heard great things about Mercy Housing, but I think your affiliation with some of the other processes that have and other players, and for the reasons I stated, I think we're going to decline to issue a letter of support.
And Tom and the rest of the NPU, first of all, I want to say again, I greatly appreciate, because I know the hour's late, I greatly appreciate you guys and your consideration. And thank you again. We do at Mercy Housing take great pride in the work that we do. And, it would be completely disingenuous of me to say that, I don't understand where you're coming from. I just want to put that on the table. And so, with that, again, we greatly appreciate it, and hopefully, we can work to show that, we do produce good things.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's true. I'm sure that's true. We just can't endorse even though the letter, I know you would be focused on Mercy Housing. I don't think at this juncture we can endorse the overall city process that's gone on up to this point.
No, absolutely. And I appreciate that. And I appreciate everyone's authenticity. It,
All
it
right.
really, it means a lot. Thank
All
you.
right. And thank you for coming in front of us. We're always interested in learning more about Amsterdam Walk and other initiatives for affordable housing. So thank you very
Absolutely.
much.
Thank you.
All right. Have a great night.
All right. You guys as well.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so that concludes our presentations. Planners report. Doug, anything you'd like to share with us?
Thank you, Tom. Yes, I would. We have a short planners report, as we always do. Once again, my name is Doug Young, Director of the City of Atlanta's Office of Design. I'm here as your friendly neighborhood F planner on behalf of the Department of City Planning. A couple of quick announcements. So, as was noted earlier, I have a couple updates on voting applications. Since we have a lot of items that come through NPU-F, I'll only highlight those that are where the recommendation differs from your recommendation. If you want details on a specific case, there'll be a dashboard link in the chat. And I already put that link earlier in the chat earlier in the meeting. So taking that into account, the only update is that the Stitch to ATL event, which was previously supported by the NPU, has been canceled. But otherwise, you can look in the dashboard in the chat link and check out all the rest of the follow-up recommendations. As for announcements, two related to some of our events and activations. This Office of Design, which is the office that I head, is hosting 3 storytelling workshops for older adults this month. The workshops aim to celebrate experiences of Black Atlantans, preserve community legacies, and inspire more inclusive design. We encourage you to invite your neighbors and bring your stories to one of the opening workshops. Lunch will be provided. You can register with the Office of Design on Eventbrite. That link will be included in the chat, or it already is in the chat, I should say. And then we have a variety of activities in September. There's a link in the chat, in the Atlanta City Studio chat, that is, about where to find out about more of these events, including some talks, one of which was tonight, our continuing book club series, and other events to talk about the future of City of Atlanta and good city design. Please note there are going to be 4 links in your chat. One is the NPU dashboard, which tracks the cases and applications that came for the NPU. There is a link for just NPU updates in general, the Office of Design Eventbrite for signing up for the storytelling activity, and then just a link for overall Atlanta City Studio events, which we have usually several each month in South Atlanta. So that is a very short NPU Planners report.
I appreciate that, Doug. Any questions for Doug? All right. Thank you for being here. Let's move on. Neighborhood committee reports. Lynridge Martin Manor. Rich.
We will have our general meeting either the first or the second Wednesday of November, probably at the Colonnade, but I'll get more information next month.
Thank you, Rich. Piedmont Heights. I know Tim sent me a note. He had to leave a little early, but he wanted me to tell everyone that the master plan for Piedmont Heights was approved by council. Anyone else in Piedmont Heights that has a neighborhood report?
Yeah, this is Susan
Hi,
Canella.
Susan.
We have our 3rd annual Taste of Pie High / annual meeting coming up on Sunday, September 28th. It is at Indie Studios from 3 to 6, and we will ticket. If you're a member of the Civic Association, it's free, our Civic Association. But for other people or people that want to volunteer, tickets are $30. And we have a lot of wonderful restaurants, breweries, and ASW as well. So should be fun.
Excellent. Yeah, I was reading on that. Looks like a great event. It was in Alex's newsletter as well, if people want more info on that. Okay, Morningside, Lenox Park. Marla.
Hopefully you got tickets to our sold out wine walk tomorrow, because I think we all need it after
Sold
this meeting.
out?
But if you didn't, you can run with us in the Monster Dash on October 25th. and you can burn off your stress and whatever that way.
Friendly neighborhood vice chair NPUs don't get special tickets. All right.
I
There
know.
we go. I'll admire from afar.
That's it for now.
Thank you. Kevin, Virginia Highlands.
Yes, so we had our annual meeting and hosted Alex Wan and Nan Orick for a panel discussion. We also, with Summerfest, only made 19,000 this year, so we need to be looking at our strategy, what we want to do with that going forward, and how to maybe revamp that. We actually are having our elections right now as we speak, and those will close out tomorrow. So we should have our new board announced by the end of the week, and maybe I'll get fired. And so I don't have to stay up so late. And we have our home tour coming back for 2 days, December 13th and 14th. And we'll be partnering with the Virginia Highland District as they do their Winterfest there as well. We also have a group of volunteers on the company installed the bike lane on Virginia Avenue that goes from Virginia right at Ponce Place down to Monroe. This is a pilot for 1 year, and that has been installed and operational, I believe, since a week ago. Probably this time last week it was finished on there. So if you're driving out that way, of course, with shaky knees, I wouldn't go over that way this weekend because it's going to be busy with 10th Street closed.
All right, thank you. Is anyone from Edmund Park? How about Emory or CDC, Druid Hills? Okay, let's move on to the committees. Rich, Parks, Trees, and Environment.
The report.
No report? I'm sorry. All right. Education, is Jason with us? Communications, Marla?
No report.
Public safety, Kay or Susan?
I have just a couple of quick things. The NPU approved the Virginia Highland Security Patrol for a grant from the city. And we're using that to create banners to make awareness about our safety programs, including some large banners we're going to be putting up in the major parking lots for the Clean Car Campaign. We're doing that in collaboration with the Virginia Highland District. And those are going to print, I think, next week and then should be up in early October. So hopefully that will help all of us with fewer car break-ins in the Virginia Highland commercial nodes. Yeah, shaky knees traffic is going to be backed up not only because of the festival, but also because the city has decided to work on the sewers. So just avoid the area if you can. But also I'd like to thank the NPU for the donation of tickets. We were able to add 18 new members to our security patrol, and we raised about $1,000 on top of that. So we really appreciate that. That's a big boost for our safety program. And the final thing is, we mentioned, I think at the last meeting or maybe the meeting before, that John Wolfinger had passed. John, many of us think of him as the godfather of all of our safety programs in the NPU, and Kevin had just confirmed we're going to have a celebration of life for John. I believe it'll be on November 16th in the afternoon. That's a Sunday, and it will be at the Colonnade. So we will have more information about that next month, so that everyone who knew and loved John can be there. And that's all I had. Susan, did you have anything to add?
No, but I did wonder, do we get any other movement on the letter about Zone 6 since Mayor Dickens responded?
I have heard nothing else back. Marla, has Phyllis let you know anything else she's heard?
No, I don't think she's heard anything since.
Is this the mold and the new precinct issue?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So thanks for raising that though, Susan. We should follow up and see. We'll
Maybe
check with the major and see what she's hearing.
Yeah, and then the other thing is, remember, it's an election coming up too. But yeah, I agree. Let's not let's follow through. I'll make a note too. Thanks, Kay. That's it for me too.
Great. All right. Wiley, anything you want to add for zoning? No. Okay. Katie, APAB? Is Katie still with us? Oh, there she is. Do you want to add anything? Report? No? All right. No report. Again, from my perspective, I won't belabor this, but our elections are coming up in November. If you're interested, we could really use some help. So please reach out and we can hopefully get you in a role within the NPU. Okay, moving on. Any old business? Any new business? Folks, I know you're all sad for me to say this, but it's that time of the evening. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So
So
moved.
moved.
Was
Second.
that Kay made it? And Kevin, would you like to second?
Second. Third.
All right. Any objections to this motion? Hearing none, the motion carries without objection. We are adjourned at 10:48 p.m. Folks, thanks. I knew this was a long one. In my defense, I warned you that at the beginning of the meeting. My track record of guessing how long they're going to take is pretty good. I told you last week we would get out pretty early, and we did, but I knew this one would be a killer. So I appreciate everybody's patience, including all the presenters and all the applicants. Hopefully we didn't rush anybody too much, but I'm glad everybody made it to the end. So thank you very much for your participation.
Have a
So
good
your
night.
average time is pretty good.
Thank
Very good.
you.
Well, have a great month, and we'll.
We appreciate you.
Oh, thank you. It's
everybody.
all for the love
Thanks,
of the
Tom.
community. All right, guys. Have a
Bye.
good night. We'll talk to
Thank
later.
you.
Good night.
Bye.